as we're sitting here under the code 60. Mirko Schultis is leading for the 33 Mercedes SLR SLS AMG. Christian Frankenhout in a similar car is several laps down now, but fighting back in the number 2 Mercedes. Behind them, still ranked 3rd, is Jiri Pisarik, but of course that Ferrari, which was leading in the hands of the Czech drivers involved in that 3-car accident out on the dip out of Chevlach. So he will go down and into 3rd place. Probably within the next couple of moments will go Elmar Grimm in the 2nd of the Car Collection Motorsport Mercedes. So it's 3 Mercedes filling the top 3 places.
So the second circuit ambulance is heading back to the pit lane, and because that is the circuit ambulance, of course, we can't let that go. So the procedure here at Zandvoort is they will call in outside assistance to transport anyone who needs it to off-site medical situations.
Which explains the 2 coming down the main entrance drive.
Exactly.
But in fact, I can think of many a circuit, John, where you wouldn't even be able to see that from the commentary position.
No,
but here we are blessed with an astonishing view, and one of the ambulances just coming down through turn 11, through the chicane. Blue lights flashing as some of the cars have now, obviously they do that short loop, turning right after Hunsrück. So it's just among those.
They are recovering cars, by the way, Bruce. They
took the cranes. I can see the cranes being used.
The cranes are being used, yeah.
So just going on down, we have A6 cars filling the top 6 places at the moment, but obviously there'll be no further mileage for the number 9 Ferrari, the Praha racing car. Jiri Pisarik involved in that incident. So up effectively into 3rd place will go Elmar Grimm, as I said, in Mercedes number 3. Maximilian Furka in the number 10 Lippert Motorsport Lamborghini will thus be elevated to 4th. And Rick Abresh, they had that front right corner for the Corvette, but it's been going really well apart from that, the V8 Racing Growler. And then top of SP2, Frederick Lestrup in that Audi TT RS from the Beza Plus group, going incredibly well. He's only a lap down on Rick Abresh, which just shows considerably slower in lap time, but it's just been running like clockwork.
And long runs as well.
Exactly.
That's the other thing. They get pretty decent mileage out of that. They've only taken 5 stops to the leaders 8 and 9. No, as far as I've seen, they've had one of those has been a drive-through, which was a penalty. But other than that, nothing. You know, they have kept their nose clean. The car looks as it did when it went out. Just to update you on what's going on the far side of the circuit as the incident is being cleared up. It was the number 9 Ferrari with Jiri Pisarik at the wheel, the 105 Christian Dick driven Ginetta, and the 47 of Sonny Nielsen. If you're just joining us, it appears that the Ferrari and the Clio had the first incident, the Clio then bouncing back into the path of Christian Dick. We've heard that Jiri was out of his car, and it would appear now we can say with some certainty, as the cars are being recovered, that all of the drivers are out of the cars. What we don't know is the condition, and as soon as we get the condition of the drivers, we will let you know. The circuit has been cut in half, and the cutout is being used so that operation can go on unhindered, and there is some work to be done on the barrier on the driver's right as they go over the hill and down the dip after Schlevlach. And I can see at least 2 of the cars are about to go onto the flatbeds, and we'll see them come back to the pits shortly. The Ferrari just going on to the back of one now. And I think that is the Ginetta on the inside of the circuit as well, which as yet hasn't been picked up. But again, massive credit to Race Control for allowing this to go on without the worry of cars coming by every so often. And the thing is, the disadvantage of Code 60 is that you don't get a minute and a half or 2 minutes of clear track to do things, because you have got cars potentially coming past all the time. So shortcutting the accident is actually a really sensible idea.
Entirely, and also under a safety car it still takes a few laps to bunch the whole field.
Correct.
So it meant they could pretty much instantly get on with tidying up the scene of the accident. Just going on down through the classes, we mentioned Frederick Lestrup. He's 7th overall. He's leading SP2. Leading A5 Just one place behind him, and mind you 3 laps down, is Ronnie Latine, and that is the faster of the 2 208 GTI Peugeots. They've had their overheating problems, but such is their pace in their class. They're running first and second in it, and they have been able to take precautionary pit stops. Leading SP3 is now car number 21, which is the PG Motorsport Porsche 996. Of
Correct.
course, that took over the lead in the class from the Ginetta that has been involved in that incident. Henk Hane is leading the A3T class in number 42. That's being fought out between a couple of Seats and number 42, which is entered by, sorry, beg your pardon, I just lost my place. Baz Curtin Racing, that is leading that class, and 48 is leading the Tiddlers class, if you like, the A2, which is the HM Motorsport Peugeot RCZ, putting it to all those Renault Clios and coming out on top. And we have to go to the second screen before we see the leader in the D1 class, the diesel class, and it's now 74 with Dirk Schultz at the wheel, and that's the Scangrit Racing Core-Oiser run Peugeot 120D, which spent some time in the pits but has clearly just managed to get back out there to lead the class.
Had a tweet in, Bruce, and we'll take the time to answer a couple of these, about finishing. Alfred Wallace, hello at Cadpig. Do the cars need to take the checkered flag to be classified? Well, I'm looking at the classification, which is Rule 40.1. Regardless of the number of laps, at the end of the race time, the checkered flag will be shown to all following cars as soon as they cross the finishing line. All cars must be classified taking the number of laps completed into consideration, and then in the order in which they have crossed the finishing line, if there are equal numbers of laps. Only laps which have been completed with own engine power will be taken into account for classification, and there will be a class and an overall classification. So basically, end of the time, the checkered flag comes out, and what you've got. Here's the kicker, 40.2, all participating cars will be classified.
Oh, okay.
So actually, you only have to start to be classified.
Yes.
You don't.
So the cars I've just seen, the 30 BMW being pushed into the outer paddock, that is classified, even though it's on its way home to Germany.
Correct. It is classified. You don't have to complete a certain amount of classification.
I approve of that, because I always feel sorry for someone who's managed, let's say, 412 laps somewhere, and then fallen out with 20 minutes to go, and someone who's finished 100 laps down on them.
You know, in a multi-class race, particularly if you've got a car that's not going to do, you know, much more than 60% of the laps of the winner, when you've got such big parity, particularly in a 24-hour race, you might not have completed the requisite number of laps for the leader, but for your leader in class, you know, even if you've only done 3/4 of the race, then, you know, you deserve to be classified.
There's also another twist, I agree entirely with that, but if you have a car, we've seen these over the decades, John, that is taped together to be sent out to take the final checkered flag at the end, they're often a danger to the driver and everybody else around them, because they've
Whereas if they were going to get classified just still for sitting in the pits, then it stops that last lap special.
And we've seen them, I've seen them at Spa 24 hours, the Nürburgring 24 hours, Le Mans 24
hours.
Le
Mans used to be terrible.
And with the closing speeds at Le Mans, not good at all. What do you want? You know, your winner is coming round. You have a car limping around ahead of him because it had to set out early to try and be there at the finish and have its suspension collapse in their path.
And we've seen the rather undignified...
yes, I think that's the term, isn't it?
It's an endurance race, and I accept that people want to get the end and see the checkered flag, but it gets a little bit undignified when you've got people hanging around just before the start-finish line to wait for the winners to come through and things like that. And
I mean, that surge of emotion is there for everybody. We all know it. Year after year, we're caught out, and it hits us all. We're tired after 24 hours of being around doing stuff. But it's not denying people that if you tell them it's quite fine to park up if your car's broken.
Yes, indeed. You're listening to RadioLeMans.com. We've got 2 hours to go. It's 5 o'clock here in Central Europe. The last 2 hours as we race towards sunset in the 12 hours of the Hankook Zandvoort 12-hour race is here on RadioLeMans.com. It's Bruce Jones and John Hindhaugh up in our vantage point, and Nick Damon is down in the pits.
Had the 53 Clio come in, and it all looked quite rudimentary and fine until the fact they couldn't start it. So it got an old-fashioned student bump start.
Excellent. I notice a lot of people have been doing that, if I'm honest.
And of course, that's the one thing you're not allowed to do at Le Mans. Again, we're talking about things you can't do at Le Mans.
Yeah.
And I've always thought that was a bit unfair. I've never seen why you had to have a starter motor that worked. Why couldn't you just bump start them? That always seems fine to me. Or do the thing where you start on the jacks and just drop them. That's even more exciting.
Yes, but it's not great, in fairness. It can be dangerous.
Also in the pits is the car that I think has probably been in the pits the least, and that's the Ricky Kuma number 49 Honda Integra.
4 stops today.
And 1 yesterday.
Yeah. And
that was forced on them.
Yeah. Jens Hansen in the 48 A2 leader has had 4 stops today. Malcolm Neal in the SP2 second place car, that's one of the Mark Australia cars, they've only had 4 stops as well.
That's not bad with the 5 litre V8 churn the fuel.
I was thinking that exact thought just went through my mind.
Penalty being served beneath you by a car 27, the yellow BMW 3 Series. It has been a real under-the-radar car. I have no idea where that is in class.
Which is this?
The 27th.
It's 7th in the A5 class, 37th overall. Jan Kortom.
So it's been kind of outpowered, because certainly as far as actual keeping going, not being in the pits, it seems to have done a fine job.
Looking at cars that have made few pit stops, the leader in D1, which is the number 74, this is the Scangrip Racing by Core Oyster BMW. That has only done 4 stops. Interesting, we've got a bit of a battle going now. After all the issues of the SVDP racing cars, the United Arab Emirates entered BMW. Spencer van der Pal is at the wheel of that car and has closed to within 3 laps of Dirk Schultz. Remember, we had that great battle with the 71 Volkswagen Golf, the TTC racing car, which is out, I'm afraid, now. So the next D1 car is Kevin Veltman that is going around. That is the 38 car. That's the Veltman Voss BMW. So it's all BMWs now. The 73 Red Camel car gave up some time. Oh, well, do you know what? I say that. Are they still running? No, they've been in the pits for an hour and a half. So it is the 3 BMW 320s that are out there battling it out. And just 3 laps between those 2 at the head of the field at the moment. Stunning work by the recovery teams, Bruce, and those cars, the remnants at least of those 3 cars that were involved in that accident, have been picked up and are on their way back to us.
Well, the first one coming into sight is just going through turn 11 through turn 12, and you can see the red Ferrari on board there. That was the race leader, Yuri Pisarek's car.
Let's just recap what we know. At least there's a bit of piecing together some of the story here, but it would appear that Ish Pisarek in the number 9 Ferrari leading the race had a coming together with the 47 Renault Clio, which was a top 3 A2 runner at the time, Sonny Nielsen, at the wheel of that car, just over the brow of the hill, fast part of the circuit that. Those 2 cars came into contact, which resulted in the Clio bouncing back onto the circuit in front of an approaching Christian Dick, leading SP3 in the 105 Ginetta. Now, that car still sits in 3rd place in its class, by the way. Such was the advantage that Christian had. They had bossed that class for all of this morning. There are 2 cars on one of the flatbeds, so that is the Clio and the Ginetta are on the same flatbed, and the Ferrari is on another one, and they are coming into the back of the Parc Ferme area. Whether they'll come back to the pits or not, I'm not sure.
We've just been speaking, we think they'll be put in there for examination after the accident. We don't know, it's just a guess, but they do seem to be putting them. Well, I suppose if they wanted to come in earlier, they could have come through the gate at turn 12. No, they do look as though they're going to where the cars were parked last night. All the cars after the first 3 hours of this race were tucked away, apart from those that wanted work, and they stayed in their garages and had to take a 10-lap penalty. And the rest of the field were kept overnight on the concrete apron out there at the Parc Ferme buildings.
The number 10, like a Lamborghini, has come in. It's having a full service tyres and driver change. I assume this now means this driver can run to the end. Would that be Who's in the number 10 car?
Max Volker.
So they'll put their hot shoe in, won't they?
Yeah,
the last 2 hours, and not currently doing the peering they normally do in the back of the engine. I think he's very unlikely to have any heat issues, having been running very slowly for the last about 45 minutes at least. And they are doing a bit of fiddling around. Again, they're having a problem getting this. They had this seatbelt problem last time as well, where they had to use their bungee cords and they spin off so hard they can't get back together again.
Yes, it's a real case of trying to save a second and losing 10, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure he'll go and get some fuel, and indeed he does. And that is they're running what, a net fifth at the moment, I think, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct, yes. So Mirko Schultes, let's just run down as we still wait for the circuit to be reopening with the cars still turning right at post 7. It's Mirko Schultes leading in the 33 Mercedes SLS AMG for Car Collection Motorsport. Christian Frankenhout in the number 2 Mercedes from the Hofer Racing team, a team that really looked set to dominate this event with 2 and 1 setting the pace yesterday. But Elmar Grimm now up to 3rd overall. The order is changing, of course, as the Ferrari that was involved in that incident has dropped from the lead down at the moment to 6th place.
If there can be any good news about what we've seen in the last couple of minutes with the damaged cars coming in, it is that the front of the Ginetta has stood up pretty well. It is a purpose-built racing car, of course, and it appears, from what I've seen of the cars, that it impacted on the passenger side of the Clio. The driver's door looked to be in working order on the Clio, and the damage was to the left-hand side.
No, fingers crossed.
I'm looking from a distance, but that's what I've seen. The Ferrari I didn't get a look at, I'm afraid, for that car. But if that is the case, that would be good news indeed. And we are waiting still for some official confirmation of the drivers who were all extracted from the cars and have left the circuit, we believe, in ambulances that came for that specific purpose. Back into the Ferrari doesn't look bad at all, even from here.
Even from 400 metres away.
Yeah. So we cannot be too far away from getting this restarted. The issue will be what damage there is to the Armco drivers right on that part of the circuit. And we are now getting people sent straight through. And look at that.
It's now open again.
Yeah, the circuit's open again, and the marshals have got big arrows to point people to turn right or to go straight on at that point.
I never cease to be, this meeting, they seem to get better and better and better at what they are doing. So full mark, not just for bringing us little tasty snacks, but for everything they're doing out on the circuit. My hat is off to them, big time.
That they think of something as fundamentally simple as that, to just give all the drivers a visual clue. You've been taking the shortcut. I'm holding up a big arrow. If it said golf sale on it, that's the sort of thing that you would see. But it has a big arrow to say go straight on. And they had one clearly before that said turn right. Genius.
Those signs were obviously there from the outset, ready. Maybe have been used many times before, but for a lot of the drivers here, they must be, they ought to be buying a drink, I think, at the end of the day for the marshals. Popping something in the pot. They've done a fantastic job here.
Yes, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. So we are awaiting the return to racing. It can't be too far away, I wouldn't have thought, given what we've seen.
With the sign flashing up at the bottom of the timing screen saying all cars take the GP circuit, that is very good news indeed. So we have 1 hour and 50 minutes of this race remaining. We have about 40 of the original 52 starters, I think, just about in circulation, maybe about 36 perhaps. But the weather has been very fine all weekend. Thus far, it was grey when we got here on Thursday evening. It was good yesterday, and today's been sunny throughout. We have
a bit chillier now, actually.
Light cloud forming. It's always easy to say that from a warm commentary box.
Yeah, it's lovely up here now.
It's a bit chillier, and the wind is blowing up the main straight again, and with more higher up the Beaufort scale than it was, that's for sure. So it's a little bit chilly. I am thinking, having enjoyed my couple of hours in the hot box, I'm now thinking whether I should go up and get my jumper.
Looking down into the pit lane, where the soft people is.
Hello.
Yeah. Now I understand why I thought that the circuit car, the circuit intervention vehicle, was one of the race cars. It is a red BMW Touring, which I've never seen, with a gloss black roof. That is the medical car.
It's a panoramic roof.
Yeah, it's one of those panoramic roofs, and that's why I thought that was the Ferrari to start with.
Well, eventually we rounded it up to be the Seat, the red Seat.
Yeah.
We've tried every red car we could think of.
Those guys are back in the pit lane getting themselves a well-earned cup of coffee before heading back out onto station. And I think once that is done, we should be back racing relatively quickly. Again, I like all what Bruce said earlier on, that the organisation generally by Creventic for everything from sign-on to allocation of passes, etc., from our point of view, is always outstanding in the events that we go to see. They skimp on nothing as far as safety is concerned, often in circuits that you don't go endurance racing on, and very impressed with that. But the marshals and the recovery personnel are clearly an integral part of the thinking for all of these events, and we've said it at Dubai. The snatch and grab of vehicles and bringing back the pits is potentially dangerous, and it's handled always, I think, very sensibly. And once again today, everyone from top to bottom have behaved themselves and dealt with the situations in very well indeed. Now, watching some of the team personnel coming back from Parc Fermé.
Have a pit caller in the 208, who I believe is leading his class.
Yeah, leading the A5 class in 8th overall.
And again, he's going to get some new front tyres. It's probably still in the original set of rears from when it left the showroom. But it's getting some new front tyres. It's not looking quite as pristine. It's got a slight peel on one of the stickers. Slightly peeling off, I'm afraid.
Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
This time they're not looking to attack it with a cooling gun or a leaf blower, and then also not looking like they're going to top it up with any oil, but they are once again doing a data dump from the computer. So it looks like a relatively simple, much easier stop than they've had recently, because they're just doing very little indeed to it, John.
The medical BMW Touring is back at its station, which is on the outside of the circuit, opposite us here at the Hugenholtz turn. And I'm looking off to my left to see, I think everything has done. The road sweeper has disappeared. Could see that before, doing some clean-up. So we must be very, very close indeed to getting this back underway. And Bruce was having a quick look down to see if he could see anything of the Ferrari, I think, there.
Yeah, no more than we saw before.
And Mirko Schultz just joins me.
When you say that, you mean in the number 33 Mercedes-Benz, presumably?
In the pits, because obviously they also sense we're getting to the end of the Code 60, so it's time to top up.
And put Renger into the car.
And they are going to release Renger, exactly.
Well, are they, though? Because they've got a decent lead.
No, it is Renault van der Zander's going in. It may well be they'll do if they've still got a 3 or 4 lap lead towards the end, they'll pop in.
Another driver limping away there.
He's been in for a long time, Mirko, and most of it not going very fast.
That's why you need to just stick it in third and have a cruise control, don't you, really?
You need radar cruise control. It's fantastic. Yeah. 60 clicks, just go up to the car in front of you and off you go.
Many a racing car or even a road car can feel comfortable if you want to drive it, but you pay the cost if you've been driving it for an hour and a half or 2 hours in hot conditions in a cockpit.
Oh, listen to that Benz V8 heading off to what could very well be. No, I don't think they do an hour and 45. So maybe one more splash. I would suggest that car will do probably about an hour or an hour and 10, and the last 45 or 50 minutes, possibly even less, will be handed off to the man who's put the deal together to bring the car home. Now, it's just about some repositioning of the emergency vehicles now, and that's what's holding us up. Well, not holding us up, that's what's being done. So if you're just joining us and wondering why it's quite quiet here at Zandvoort for the Hankook 12 hours, we've had a 3-car accident that I'm afraid has taken out the race leader, the number 9 Ferrari, as well as the 105 class leading Ginetta and the 47 Renault Clio. All of those 3 cars involved in an incident quite some time ago now. Medical personnel scrambled to the scene of the accident, and the circuit was cut to its shorter configuration to allow them to go about their work without interruption. The drivers have been evacuated from their cars, and at least 2 ambulances that we've seen have gone off the circuit. They were called in from outside to take the drivers away, and we await for confirmation on their condition. It would appear that the Ferrari number 9 and the Clio number 47 came into contact first. The 47 Clio bouncing back off the guardrail and into the path of the Ginetta driven by Christian Dick arriving on the scene. But more than that, I'm afraid we can't tell you at the moment.
Cars
got some
continuing
cars
to come in.
Yeah, another one Mercedes has come in. They've been chuffed a bit to know that the doors open properly. It hasn't pinged off over the pit lane this time. We also have the 51 Renault Clio. And obviously we just recently saw the 33 come through. They're all picking up some fuel.
Well, that car has made up a position in A6 now because of the demise of the number 7 Mercedes-Benz, Gianluca De Lorenzi. And that's the other news, of course, from the most recent part of the race. That number 7 car went off after the chicane, damaged its suspension.
It is being worked on, John, even though I know that Gianluca gave it is finished. It's gone. It's not. But
It was you know, wow.
But they're having a bit of a shift in it now in the down by the bottom, and just seeing if they can perhaps change the track rod and get the thing. I see if I can grab a word with Mirko. He's just in the hand the back to see. Oh, sorry, I was walking someone else. So before we go back to green, so we're with Mirko, who's had a very difficult little. What I like is he's about to do a radio interview. He's put his sponsor's hat on, which is great. Okay, that was I would think a very, very difficult stint for you, because you just, at one point you were pushing, and then you had a long period under the code 60.
Yes, I just could not get out of the car for the driver change because I had a cramp in my in my right knee. Yeah, it was a long code 60. So today I didn't have a lot of fast rounds.
Well, just after you took over the car, you had a bit of a skate over the gravel. What happened there?
Oh, the Mercedes in my rear was pushing, and I was just braking too late. So he wanted to pass inside, so I was braking late, and it was just too late. So this is why I went into the gravel, and just to avoid the contact.
I mean, it is now looking very good for the 33 car, isn't it? With the number 9 pulling out.
Yeah, it looks quite good. You mean with the number 9 missing?
Yes.
Yeah. Are the guys okay?
We think so, yeah.
Okay. No, it was a terrible accident. I was just behind him when it happened, and they spun and they hit me by, I don't know, maybe 2 centimeters. I thought one car was gonna hit me, but nothing happened.
So you actually saw the accident taking place. I didn't realise you were in the same part of the track. So
yeah.
So was it? We've kind of heard that what happened was that the Ferrari hit the Clio, and then unfortunately the other car collected. Was that right?
Was it a Clio? The middle one? I think the
maybe the Ginetta.
Yeah, no, they just touched. They just touched a little, and then I went to the right side to be out of the way, and then I think the Ferrari spun and went into the wall, and then another car probably came, because on the next tour I just saw a third car. But actually there were only 2 cars involved.
Okay, thank you very much, and good luck for your team. Thanks.
Yeah, so Mirko Schultz is very, very close to that incident. Oh, the door's open on the leader again. Renger van der Zande. He's done this before. Well, at least it's a driver who knows what to do. He has to have a bit of a wiggle going through turn 13 and 14, reach up and drag it down. So drama as we restart with an hour and 40 minutes to go, and the leader has the door open.
It's
no,
closed.
He's got it closed. He's got the wiggle on out of Tarzan this time.
Multitasking with Renger van der Zande.
Genius stuff. So Renger van der Zande with a 5-lap lead over Christian Frankenhout in the number 2 Mercedes-Benz, with Elmer Grimm in 3rd position. Amazing stuff. So the 2 car collection machines, first and third, and the Hofer Racing Mercedes-Benz in second. Jeroen Mull in fourth position in the number 10 Lamborghini. Then it's the Corvette Rick Abrecht, who seems to have been in that car for 8 hours.
Occasionally lets the others out for a lap or two, but
just unbelievable.
Clearly the dominant character in that pit garage.
SP2 leader in the Audi TT, Frederik Lestrup. The SP2 leader, as I say, 265 laps and up into 6th position.
Just run like clockwork. Of course, he's just deposed the number 9 Ferrari that was leading the race, involved in that accident out at Chevlac. So very shortly, in another, well, actually a few minutes, because he's on the same lap, but some way back, Gonzalo Martin de André will move the 208 GTI Peugeot up into 7th place overall, leading Class A5. And don't forget, they originally were supposed to be in Class A2, but clearly their performance way in excess of the Renault Clios.
Yeah, and good move again by the organisers. It's sit down and talk to us. I always remember the first time that we went to Bahrain. Is that important? Is that the one that we don't need?
Car parking ticket. I'll just keep it.
The organisers saying, look, if you have something, don't whinge about it, don't moan about it, don't go away in a strop. Come and talk to us, and we'll. Oh, he's tearing it up.
Live on the edge, John.
I love it. Come and talk to us about it and we'll sort something out. And that's very much the way that preventing work. And I like that attitude. Don't go away grumbling. Come and talk to us. We might not be able to sort it out, but if we can, we will.
Yep, but Race Control want to see some people. That's the team manager of Veltman and Voss. That's in the D1 class, number 38.
I think they're up into 3rd position now, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
4th position, but it's a net 3rd because the 71 car's not going anywhere else.
Yeah. So
they're potentially on for a podium position there.
So I wonder how fast we're going to get how soon we're going to get drivers down to decent lap times. Renger van der Zande, we know, can get that car, number 33, that's leading the race, to set fast lap times. He doesn't really have to. He's sitting on a lead of 5 laps at the moment. Doesn't want to take any risks. He's already had the scare of, as literally this very second of the restart, his driver's side gull-wing door on the 33 Martini liveried Mercedes pinging up. He does have past experience of this, of course. Yesterday evening he had that happen. He managed to sort it out as he went through turns 13 and 14, but he did lose a position. But gull-wing doors, they've been the talk of the day, John, if you have an SLS AMG Mercedes. And
not the first time it's happened at Bathurst, Mount Panorama, during a safety car period of this year's Liqui Moly 12 hours. Exactly the same thing happening. And the car having to pull over at the side of the road and have one of the marshals slam it shut. Made all the highlight reels on SBS, the network coverage, the TV coverage across Australia. They got such a huge audience.
What do you think about it? Of course, normal doors, you just shut them and they're just sitting there being shut. But the actual SLS doors are permanently under pressure from the gas struts trying to open them.
Yeah, and that is an issue, clearly. Having been involved in the design and build of a road and race car that had up and over doors, gull-wing doors. Oh, touch! Right underneath us, the 51 Clio and the 49
Honda Civic. That's Ricky Kumba's car, but the Clio was on the grass on the inside, got its tail around and then straightened himself out against the Honda as they went through Hugenholzbach. They got away with it, but that seemed a little unnecessary. Well, oil flag at turn 12.
They are battling in A2 for position, but the 51 is 2 laps back. That was Ferdinand Baratella in the Clio and William Gannon in the 49 Honda, which is the most frugal of cars, as we've seen. 245 laps for the Honda, 243 for the Clio, but they are together on the timing screen. Maybe Ferdinand doesn't realise he's 2 laps further back, but he's trying to get one of them back at least and put some pressure on. But that is 2 cars on the podium in class.
Potentially, but...
Not if Ferdinand keeps driving like that.
Yes, we didn't see what happened on the lead-in. Our timing screens obstruct our view of the actual turn-in point for Hugenholzbach, but he was certainly all over the grass on the inside, and using that term that we use so often, squirrely he was on the exit, as he had his left-hand wheels on the grass and the right-hand wheels on the tarmac. Not always a good combination.
Sort of ditch hooking, wasn't it? You know, the old-fashioned rally driving bit. It's quite interesting, to say the least. Sadly, we seem to have lost quite a few of the onboard cameras that we had early on.
That was our D1 class leader, I think, in the pits. Was that 74?
Tis
He
it is.
is, yes. It's trolling down past me now. 74. I think one of the problems was that two of the onboards were on Eo Schutz's car with the 104 Audi R8 redesign and the 72 set. Both had their own cameras. They both pulled out.
90 had one as well, didn't it? And that's out of the race.
There's one garage here which you didn't want to be in. It's got on one side it's got 90 that's in pieces parked up doing nothing. It's got the 76 Nissan that's parked up doing nothing. It's got the TTC Racing VW that's given up and doing nothing. And then next to it, it's got the number 7 SLS that is in. I would say, I don't think it is coming back. I think they decided to take the advantage because the engineers are here to mend it now, rather than wait till they get home to mend it. So but I don't think it's unlikely to be going out again.
You've paid for the spanners to be here. You might as well give them some work.
So there's 4 cars in that garage. They've all retired.
Yeah, Gianluca De Lorenzi, when I caught him, was just after he jumped off the flatbed when that number 7 Mercedes was brought back in, had on his face the intention of staying at this circuit for any more than a further 10 minutes. Seemed to be very small indeed. He was doing the full strop. I'm off out of here.
Well, I'm looking. I can see why. I'm looking now at the one that they've. It's completely snapped the under tray, which is a lovely carbon fibre piece, and I expect probably more expensive than everything the three of us have spent so far this year on everything.
Hang on, you've just bought quite an expensive motorbike.
It's still not as expensive as a carbon fibre under tray from AMG, but still cheaper than a Wishbone from Dallara, as we found out.
Very true.
In my favourite ever Dale of the Century, where the figures were just so ridiculous, by the end we started guessing too high, because we just thought it was £1 million for everything.
Wasn't it 21 grand for a corner or something?
Oh, it was ridiculous. It's like, drive shaft for 60 quid, all right, 200 quid, no, $9,000. And that's so if you listen to Mimic Motorsport, we have an item called Dale of the Century, which is effectively where some sort of auction or prices comes out, and Tim Gregg asks us to guess the price. And normally we're quite good on memorabilia and this sort of stuff. The one thing we got completely wrong were the spare parts costs for the Dallara DW12, which has a nominal price, I think, of $1 million or even $500,000 for the car before the engine. But the spares, to make a car from spares, would cost about $11 million. Because they are
front winning end plate, $11,000.
They were just. It was like
nonsense.
Let's go racing on a street circuit.
Bang. We've made no money. All right, we've lost a bit of money. Our loss leader is the car. Ha! With the spares, we've got so much money we can buy ourselves a new wind tunnel.
Welcome to the Dallara Detroit Grand Prix.
Yes, exactly.
I did used to enjoy watching Formula Ford races and seeing Ralph Furman's face on the pit wall as a field of 40 cars headed down to the first corner, 30 of which were Van Diemen's. His hands were rubbed raw.
Yeah. IMSA lights for Paynos and the Star Mazda series for Paynos. I think that was a decent earner for them.
Well, again, that was one. It was the spare parts prices that kind of, in many ways, is done for Renault Clio and the Renault, proper Renault sport racing. In the UK.
A black BMW smoking very badly as it went over the hill. I think that should be the number 74 car.
It was the 74 car with Dirk Schultz, and
class leader.
Right in behind it was the 102 SP3.
Oh no, SP3, sorry.
SP3, second place Lotus that was going slow under the tutelage of Henk Thijssen as well. His last lap time was a 2:03, but he was certainly out of the throttle going up the hill. Here comes Jeroen Mul in front of us, and he's got Elmer Grimm in front of him. Now, they are third and fourth, 2 laps between them, and Jeroen Mul is pushing to get one of those back. And you wouldn't bet against him at the moment as they go over the brow. The Mercedes-Benz sitting right in the middle of the road, and when we see them again, it will be when they come out of turn number 10. And I have a sneaking suspicion that Mull might be through. And here they come, gaggle of cars right ahead of them. And it is still the Mercedes-Benz, but only just. In fact, I think he's got a car between himself and the Lamborghini for a moment.
That was another Mercedes.
Oh, you're right, it is.
I was going to say they were quick. Now they're trying to work it out. I think the Mercedes is behind the Lamborghini. Coming down towards turn 11. That's a Lamborghini in the front.
It is. That's a lap back by Jeroen Mul. Good spot, Bruce. The number 10 then is still in fourth position, but is now only a lap and 9/10 behind a podium position, and that's why that was so important, because they are running. Elmer Grimm's been in the car for an hour and 25 minutes, so he's going to jump out shortly. Jeroen Mull, 22 minutes. Could be one more stop for that number 10, for the number 3 car if they work it out. They've only got 90 minutes left, and here is the drama that Bruce trailed a moment ago. The leading D1 car has got the meatball flag, the mechanical flag, black with the orange ball in the middle, hence the nickname, the meatball. Leaking fluid from 74. It must come into pit lane. Dirk Schultz. And we said that had closed back up again. And in fact, it's less than 2 laps now between Dirk Schultz and Wubbe Helaar, who has led this class for a long time in their BMW, the 75 car. So that is, if that's not a quick fix for the 74, then they are going to lose the lead with only 90 minutes to go.
That's the thing. You have a long race. You just don't really think about the time ahead when you're working in it. But suddenly, an hour and 30, is that a short amount of time or a long amount of time? Yeah. There's plenty of time in an hour and 30 for things to change.
If you're chasing, it's not long enough. If you're leading, it's way too long.
Simple rule. But the good thing is we haven't had Jeroen Mull in number 10 Lamborghini, the only Lamborghini in this race, chasing down Elmer Grimm. We just saw him gaining a lap back last time around. But the thing is, Jeroen has made that car absolutely fly. He's been by far the fastest of the trio. No disrespect to the others. Jeroen, a very handy driver, normally in the Porsche Super Cup. But he could yet get up onto the podium.
And he got in at the start of that 24-minute stint he's on at the moment. You're only allowed to do 2 hours. There's less than 1:35 to go, so he can take that car to the end.
That's the plan. Much exactly the same as Renger van der Zande will be doing in the race leading number 33.
See, I don't think he'll take that to the end. I think he'll get out of that car.
Well, I'm fairly sure he told me he was going to do the last 2 hours, and that was his little thing. He may not bother with the driver change.
33. Who's going to bring that home? That'll be Peter Schmidt.
No, I tell you what. I now remember what he said. As long as we've got a big enough lead, I will get out, and Peter maybe do an hour. You're quite right.
When they get into, they won't want to give Peter too long, but I think Renger's done 17 minutes at the moment. He'll run until they can put enough fuel in it to get it back to the end. They've been topping it up, so that it will have had its full 120 litres. They can't put 120 litres back into it, so I would expect him to run for about another hour. An hour and 17, an hour and 20. That'll leave about half an hour.
Yeah.
About half an hour for Peter to do.
And if they build any more of a lead, and Renger is lapping faster than Christian Frankenhout can in chasing number 2, he might give Peter even more time. Leaking fluid, that is indeed why car 74 is being shown the meatball. I like the way it does say meatball on the timing screen.
Nick Damon, that car is in the pits, and its team are beckoning into the garage.
They are. The car looks a bit low at the front, actually. So that may be just a optical illusion. It's rolling in. There's no fluid visibly left. Many times I've seen a trail of fluid coming out. The concrete dry goes down. They actually had dropped some a bit earlier, actually, when they were the previous time. No, it is leaking. When I get a bit closer now, it is dipping. I'm not doing the Bradley taste test before.
Go on.
It's water. Oh no, it's not. Sweet. What is it?
Vimto, perhaps.
Oh no, it's a very light oil. It's weird.
So that'll be a diff oil then.
It's not engine oil, and
diff or gearbox oil.
That's brilliant. That's a brilliant spot, John, because it's coming from the back. The transaxle of this car is at the back, with the gearbox is at the back, isn't it, on these cars?
Yep.
And that's where it's coming from.
In comes from 13th position the A3T leader.
42, is that?
Yep.
He's getting a set of tyres and
2-lap lead for him at the moment.
They've got a slight problem with the. It took a while to get up on the air jacks. In fact, it's only up on the front end as it is. Of course, this is the car that's one of the many cars that decided to remove part of its bodywork to stay in.
Not pristine, I think you would say.
It's had a bit of an issue around the back, which is never good for any morning.
And here's the second place car in class coming in right behind it, also with the missing bumper.
Yeah, so 41 and 42 obviously have decided. Oh, and he's had an off. He's had an off 41 because they are taking out.
That's Geese Bessem.
They're taking out enough grass, more grass than I get off my lawn. Coming straight through, and he's got grass in the wheels, They're pushing him back. I don't know if they're going to get him going. It was just, yeah, it was just a, that was it. Oh, he came in, he got the grass wiped out of his radiator. That was really a bit hot. Car looks very odd because it's got a small diffuser. It's now poking out about 7 inches around the back of the car. It hasn't got a rear bumper. He has decided not to take fuel.
Well,
so
he's got a lap back, of course, there.
And the 74 continues leaking his gearbox stroke diff oil everywhere. And they've just taken off the under tray at the rear, so it sounds like it's been almost like they've gone over something and smashed something, I would say, because there's a bit of under tray's got broken, and that's probably gone into and cracked some sort of housing, would be my guess.
Watch out for the 75 120 coming across the line. Verhela at the wheel, because when he comes round next time, he'll be on the lead lap of D1. Dirk Schultz in that 74 that we just saw pushed into its pit box with some kind of lubricant leaking from the innards.
About 3 or 4 minutes ago, we saw Jeroen Mul take a lap back off Elmer Grimm. He's lapping near 4 and a bit seconds faster per lap. He's now, working his way about taking back the other lap that he's missing. So I think as if Jeroen Mul is in there until the end of this race, we could see the Lamborghini getting up and stopping Mercedes from filling the top 3 places.
He got into the car with less than 2 hours to run, so we know the max is 2 hours, and that was probably what they're trying to do. They have had problems, though. Let's go. That car's not runs 100% smoothly, even with the right drivers.
It's been quick, though. I think it's got the quickest lap of the race, actually, if I remember rightly.
But they've had the issues, as you know, Bruce, with overheating and wondering what's going on, and downloads and all the oil things. So they're obviously throwing caution to the wind and just going for it, which is fantastic. But even with the speed, it's no foregone conclusion.
No, absolutely so. But Elmer Grimm in the number 3 car collection motorsport Mercedes that is in 3rd place at the moment. He's done an hour and a half in his stint, so he'll be definitely within the next 20 minutes.
And I imagine he'll be getting out in the same tender way he's got out the previous 2 times, as he's peeled out of the car, being 6'6", and will then be unable to walk away for a couple of minutes.
I'm like that after a long haul flight.
I'm like that after.
Oh my golly! Sorry, I just looked over your shoulder and saw the race-leading 33 nearly collect the back of one of the Mark entries, the 92, which is the slowest of the 3 V8 Focus cars up from Australia. But that was very close indeed. That was through Gerlachbocht. He was obviously looking to go around the outside, therefore to be on the inside line to Guggenholz, the left-hand. Effectively a very broad hairpin, isn't it, John?
Yes.
But I don't think the driver of the Mark VD... No, I keep calling it Mark VDS. Sorry, I've gone completely mad.
You only did it once before. I have stopped myself. I have been so close. The Mark Australia cars.
That's it, yes. We call them actually the Mark Cars Australia.
Yeah.
Or I call them Mark VDS for short, for some reason.
I actually was... John, I almost corrected you for something you got right. Because you said, and the 2 Peugeots are going by. I go, no, John, they're 2 Toyotas. Oh, no, hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the famous Toyota 208. Yes.
So used to being, they're so used to Peugeot being a verboten word within our broadcast these days.
So Renger van der Zande leading the race by 5 laps. He's lapping in the 1 minute 43. So is Christian Frankenhout in the car that's giving vain chase, but 5 laps down is the number 2 Mercedes. Elmer Grimm in the number 3 that's running 3rd is lapping in the 147s, but matching the pace of the race-leading cars. Jeroen Mul, he's 11 laps down overall, but he could yet get into 3rd place, also lapping in the 1 minute 43s. They are the fast 3, with number 3 sort of interjecting into their pattern. Looking out the window over Guggenholz-Bocht, we can see number 1. You might ask, why is the sister car from Hofer Racing down that far back? Well, losing 14 laps in the 3-hour segment yesterday evening was bad enough. Because they had to work on the car, change the gearbox after all sorts of ailments, they lost another 10 laps because the car was removed. Never went to Parc Fermé last night, and it's been stabbing away, doing its all. But from that far back, I'm just trying to see where number 1 is overall, looking around you. He's now, of course, up to 7th in A6, because, and soon he'll go up to number 6. There's Jiri Pisarik in the Praha Racing Ferrari. Out wounded the Ferrari was after that incident at Chevlach. He will drop further back because, of course, there will be no more running from the red Ferrari.
The 44, many times visited the pits, the Seat from Wellingborough, just down the road from John, with Zest Racing, is in the pits. And again, once again, it's for the rearrangement of the tape that is holding on various bits of the bodywork to the chassis of the car.
You've also got the 93 Mark Cars Australia. I've got it this time.
Yeah,
just in from the pits.
That's the Crimsafe car.
That's the Crimsafe.
Hi.
What was the one they used to have about drink driving? I think in
if you're drinking, you drive, you're a bloody idiot.
That's the one. These great big banners over the circuit at the Australian Grand Prix that year. I gave up drink accordingly.
I believe that is the man getting out of that car, but I believe the man I insulted on the grid earlier, so I won't speak to him. I think I call him New Zealander. That's getting a good old clean. Where is the Crim Safe machine, the 93?
It is second in the SP2 class, 8th overall. And it's how far down on the Frederick Lestrup driven Audi TTRS? It's 4 laps down, 5 laps down really.
Yeah, it will be by the time it's finished this pit stop.
Which is not bad for basically a 5-litre Aussie V8 that's, you know, on a very twisty-turny circuit.
Actually, I'm not sure about the provenance of the engine.
Oh, is it a British one?
No, it's a Ford. It's a Ford crate motor, but I don't know where it comes from. I had it in my head somehow that there was a South African connection to part of that project, but I may be entirely wrong. So I
Ford
apologise.
engine V8s are based in some way on the what we would call the Mustang engine, aren't they?
Yeah,
of various different capacities, and then they're made by the various countries. Well, not here, obviously. We have nothing bigger than the 2.3 EcoBoost as standard in Europe, don't we? Did you hear about the Ford Mustang launch in the Champions League?
What do you mean? Yeah.
They launched it and they got like 5,000 pre-orders.
For 500 cars in the UK.
Cars, yeah.
Well, there we go. We were discussing on the way over, were we not, about the appeal of this latest generation Mustang? Stronger than we realised.
There will be a 5-litre V8 and a right-hand drive version for the UK.
That's the appeal. It's right-hand drive finally.
Yeah, first time.
And you can also, and the 300 horsepower option is a tuned-up version of EcoBoost, which will have a reasonable emissions, a reasonable economy.
305 horsepower from the EcoBoost car, but the Focus RS is due to have a 350 brake version of that engine. So if there's a 350 brake for a Focus that exists from that engine, guess what? Someone will offer you a conversion for your Mustang.
And the Mustang's rear-wheel drive, which will help.
Yeah. Independent rear suspension as well for the first time.
Is it really?
Wonders never cease.
Good grief. What's wrong with these people? Does it have an AM and an FM radio?
Yeah. It's based on the global touring car concept, the GTC concept. And it's based on the Pace Innovations global touring car concept, and it has the Coyote 500 horsepower engine.
Hold on a second. We've had someone clank the barriers at Gerlachbocht. They nearly, and just going through, it's the 205 Peugeot is pulled off at the side.
It's Matteo Sentis.
And it nearly caught out Renger van der Zande, who had to snake his way around it in the race-leading Mercedes. Will the drama never cease?
The cars were built to compete in the GTC South Africa class. There you go.
Yeah.
Eventually they'll be built in South Africa. Around about 130,000 Australian to construct. So there you go.
It's about
500 horsepower Coyote V8.
Right, while you're planning your shopping list for Christmas, that was Matthias Sentis who clanged the barriers and is on the inside of the corner on the grass verge just before Hugenholzbocht, but he got it wrong going through the right-hander, the very fast right kink called Gerlachbocht, and he's really made a mess of the grass to the curve. He's kicked a lot of earth onto the circuit, but he so nearly collected the race leader.
He made a bigger mess of the driver's side, the left-hand side of that. Pristine on this side, only one over, never raced or rallied. I suspect the other side will not look as good when we see that turned around, and I don't think that's going to drive out of there.
I'm actually looking at one of the most pristine machines still rolling round, and that's the 21, the silver grey.
Which leads SP3. Eric
Porsche.
Den Decker is at the wheel of that.
It looks... now the Volkswagen's gone, it looks most like a car you could just drive off the forecourt. It's very clean, it's got a quite nice colour. It's got one slightly scratched sticker, which obviously there's going to be a big inquest about how that happened. But apart from that, it looks fantastic, and it just looks so tiny.
Well, just looking down, Nick, as we are at the Peugeot number 205, there is no move to get that car from the circuit. The driver has not got out. Matteo Sentis is still sitting there. I don't know if he's trying to fire the engine up again or just talking to the team. Did something break? Is that why he was pitched off going through Gerlachbocht? I don't know, but we've had so many front right corners, well, not so many, a few front right corners have gone down in this race, John. That could tally if it went with his, but I don't think, as Marshall runs out to grab some of the underbody, oh no, it's actually a bit of the tyre belt that holds in the tyres on the outside, that's hurled over the fence.
I think it was from the underneath of the engine compartment.
Well, that's what I thought at start with, but it flexed so much. I'm just trying to see if he ripped it off the tyre belt that covers the tyre wall.
The Coyote is the Mustang V8, says Rotation. Thank you. When we're talking about the engine in the Mark Cars Australia.
Sorry, we forgot to say we're under code 60, by the way.
Yes, and there's a big. I wonder why the big snatch lorry got on. Just to fill you off on the Porsche news, the other Porsche, the 17, the green and black machine, which has been in for a while, that's going nowhere. And there's two indicators why it's going nowhere. Number one, they've taken off there's those ultra light, thin position indicators. You have power 4 there. They've taken that off, and it's just lying on the bonnet. And secondly, there's an 8-year-old in the driving seat playing brum brums. I say 8, he might be 9. And I think we're about to get this number 3 car, who I would think is, where's he now, number 3? He comes in for tyres. Is this the third place man, car 3, in front of me?
Elmer Grimm, it is, but he's going to lose that position if Jerome
Elmer
gets
out. And he's walking better than, no, perhaps not. There's an awful lot of Elmer. He's just trying to ease off those ankles. I kind of feel this to be exactly the same way as you, I, or Bruce would get out of a race car. You know, walking out, trying to look confident, but just looking like you've just got off a horse for 6 weeks. He's giving the thumbs up. They obviously must feel they have a chance. So this will obviously take it to the end when they fill it up. Only an hour and 14 minutes to go on the race. So they will fill it up, send it with the new driver, and see if they can stay on the podium.
The flatbed has arrived at the Peugeot, and it is a Peugeot, Nick.
You sure?
Positive. The 4 used tyres are spread out on the back of the flatbed to put the wheels of the car that they're going to drop on into, which I think is a brilliant idea.
Have you had more food delivered?
No, not at all.
Oh God, I was about to get really upset there because I've been down here. Obviously, Bruce snaffled all the pit lane food.
John, more cake?
Let me see.
If I must.
I'll see if I can grab a quick word with Elmer, the world's tallest racing driver. Elmer? So we spoke to Elmer before. He's coming out of the car collection 1 number 3 machine. So he doesn't need to get his hat on. He just gets the thanks of Mirko. There's lots of tyres in the way. Oh, he's put the pointing on him. English, I think. we'll do up. My German, I'm telling you, is not good.
His English not great either.
So Elmer, another long and difficult stint, but you enjoyed it out there?
No, it was a long time on 60. It's not so good. So I know why Niki Lauda told I don't like it to go every time in the prize.
But it does, at the moment, your team has 3rd place with the car. Do you think you can hold on to that?
Yeah, okay, it was very good. Okay, it was accidents, and so we come 1 place on the front, and so it's racing, and so it's good for us. We are now the 3rd place. The problem is now the Lambo is very, very, very quick. Yeah, I think we have 1.5 round before. Yeah, we will see what the last 1 hour give.
Oh, thank you very much. And as I was speaking to him, I see the Corvettes come through again.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're taking tyres because they always do.
That's Rick Abresh still
picking up some fuel.
I've got a feeling they're not changing their driver marker on that, because every time I've looked at that car, it's been Rick Abresh. Alex Van der Hoff had a run in it as well, didn't they? But Rick seems to have been in for quite a long. Diedrich Schuithofer had the incident yesterday.
He's being punished, you see. They won't let him back in the car.
We had the number 2 car in, which is doing, and now the 86, the leader in SP2, the Audi TT. That everything was going really well until he kind of pointed himself in the wrong direction and had to be given a very long, leisurely push out.
No sign of the leader.
Okay, with all of this, John, we've had Elmer just mentioned that Jeroen Mull is really flying in the Lamborghini. What Elmer doesn't want now, what Jeroen doesn't want now is this code 60. He wants all the open track time that he can get, all the green flag racing. So
I'm actually surprised he's come in. Did he go to did Jeroen Mull go to?
I didn't see Jeroen.
No, he hasn't. Sorry, Jeroen Mull didn't come in, did he? Kirchhoff came in, and Abrecht came in, sorry, and Lestrup came in. No, Mull stays out because he wants the track position. It's just a question of how far into the race he can go. He's been in the car 42 minutes. Renger van der Zande is on lap, has completed lap 293. It's in second place, Christian van Frankenhout, 288, 283 for Johannes Kirchhoff. Jeroen Mull, 282. 33, 2, 3 and 10, your top four, with Rick Abrecht in the number 5 Corvette in 5th position. Nick Damon is down in the pit lane as the 205 Peugeot 208 GTI is placed on the flatbed rather precariously, because they just slung a strop through the middle of that and had to be balanced. It was in 10th position when it went off, still is in 10th position actually. Actually, no, it was in
9th position.
Yes,
it was in
that's
9th.
Brilliant. So that's updated without the car having to go across the line. That little
yeah.
That's genius.
Well, I was watching it when I'm trying to think which car went into the garage, and then I watched. Oh, it was one of these Peugeots. It was the other one that had more overheating problems. It was on 9th position when it came into the garage, and I could watch while they were redoing it. It dropped to 12th.
Genius.
What was I about to point out? Car number 41, team manager. That's NKPP Racing, doing very well in A3T. Second in class. Got to see, but Nick reckoned that car had a bit of contact or something about 10-15 minutes ago, so maybe that is something to do. But
it's back on the lead lap in class. Martin van der Berg in the 42. Those two cars have been in lockstep all the way through the event, really. And the NKPP Racing and the Baz Colin Racing, they are pitted together in those Seat Leon Supercars. I would suggest that there is some cooperation between the two Dutch teams. Harry Hilders, Gies Bessem in the leading car, the second place car, the 42, and it's Harry at the wheel. Martin van der Berg and Henk Hane in the Baz Colin Racing 2 car in the lead of that class. Nothing between them, a couple of minutes on the track at the moment under code 60 conditions. The flatbed has gone.
Yes, it's gone, and Renger van der Zande at the very same instant just completed his 294th lap, and Maximilian Buch, who's doing his best to try and keep up as the Peugeot 208 GTI and 91 come into the pits.
Nick, you need to look the left side of that car for damage as it comes in.
Okay, I shall bravely run in front of the flatbed.
Not left, you were on the right side.
You in the left? No, this is. Oh, I see. You mean not the left-hand side?
Oh, the other left.
The left. As in the left, not the right.
You mean the left-hand side? You mean?
Yes.
Oh, right.
The side that's been left.
Ah, okay. Oh dear. Oh, that's not looking so good now.
Not as pristine.
It's got a huge hole in the front tyre.
Oh, has it?
Actually, a hole in the. There was like a bullet hole in the top of the actual sidewall of the tyre. Whether that's cause or effect, I've no idea. Car has clunked in hard, broken.
That's the loaded tyre at that part of the circuit. It's also the place where it probably hit, in fairness.
Yeah, so it's got, certainly it's taken out the radiator, the brake ducts.
Well, what we can see, Nick,
hard.
in fact, looking at the grass verge, the car has gone in forwards. It's swung round. The back has, unless that's someone else's skid marks down there, has then come back out. Lamborghini in the pits. There's one for you. So Jeroen Mull go for refueling, I would think.
Just for fuel to get to the end, yeah. So
using the code 60
My guess is that it's bent back the wheel as well. So not knowing how easy it is to replace the McPherson strut front end, my guess was with an hour and 6 minutes left. This is unlikely.
Can they do it in 1 and 5?
They can. It's unlikely to see
1 minute to the green flag, though. So this isn't what they want to hear. That. Everybody will be racing again at full speed.
Well, say Mr. Mole wants to hear because he's going to lose some time.
Yes, well, it depends how much fuel he needed to put in, but I guess he will.
They've called him a lap too late, I'm afraid.
Now, did Dr. Johannes Kirchhoff has taken over the number 3 Mercedes from Elmer Grin, and that was the one that Jeroen was catching. Did you notice, did that go in for fuel?
Yeah.
Yes, it did. In fact, I can see 8 minutes 31 for a pit stop. Yes.
Oh, back green again. An hour and 5 minutes. If you're just joining us, welcome along. Saturday afternoon racing in Zandvoort for the Hankook 12 hours. Bruce Jones, Nick Damon, John Hindhaugh, live coverage of yesterday's 3 and today's 9, punctuated today by rather more Code 60 than we would have hoped. And we're still waiting for news, by the way, of the drivers involved in that incident. We will get it to you as soon as we have something concrete from the organisers. Renger van der Zande leads, having completed 294 laps of the 4.3 kilometre circuit here on the beach at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Maximilian Buch in second place for Mercedes-Benz. 1, 2 and 3 for the 3-pointed start, and 2 of those belong to Car Collection, the 33 litre and the 3rd place number 3 car. The possible fly in the Benz ointment, Jeroen Mull in the pits at the moment for possibly his last stop. He should be able to go to the end from here in the number 10 Reiter Engineering Lamborghini, and expect to see a charge now.
Leaving the pits now, John.
The issue is that I don't think either of the cars ahead of him have got to stop again either. And the one that he's chasing down is the number 3 Ferrari, Bruce, number 3 Mercedes, Bruce, and basically they can go from here as well.
I think they can, because I think they timed their pit stop to perfection. Yes, Jeroen lost a bit of time, but we've seen he can take. Let's see them get back to full racing speed, but I reckon Jeroen can lap 5 seconds a lap faster than Kirchhoff can in the number 3 Mercedes, but he did lose time when the green flags were flown and the Code 60 was brought to an end while he was still taking on fuel in the Lamborghini. But he has been one of the stars of this race meeting. The first Zandvoort 12 hours brought to you by Hankook and arranged by Creventic. Very impressive a race so far. Yes, we would have liked less time spent under Code 60, but they haven't wasted any of it. They've cleaned up the incidents and got the cars back on their way. They've also made sure that if any car can be got back to the pits to be repaired, they have brought it back to us. So full marks to the team. But the person who's enjoying it the most at the moment will be Renger van der Zande. We're sure he's going to come in. He has 1 hour and 3 minutes remaining, and he expected to come in hand to Peter Schmidt. I think the question is just how much time he's going to give his colleague in the 33 Martini liveried Mercedes to enjoy the end of this race. Hopefully from now to the finish it's under green flags.
Be a nice run, wouldn't it, if it was? And we've seen how when pushed hard you do have to think about the tyres, particularly the rear tyres on the Benzes. They can go away. Maybe that's the slight advantage that the Raging Bull has in 4th position. Mid-engine car, slightly better balance perhaps on the car between getting understeer and the car pushing on for the Benz with the big front end and the V8 sitting quite a long way forward in that car. I know they do push the engine back a little bit, but also the excessive power that it's pushing through the rear wheels. Renger van der Zande in the second half of the stint and a half that he did earlier on today was like driving a drift car.
Well, in fact, a few laps ago he was driving it a bit like a drift car around here, but I think that again was as the temperatures are dropping slightly, and in fact that was probably after the last Code 60 restart, now I think about it. But we have a fantastic vantage point looking down over the double apex left-hander with the rising exit that is Hugenholzbocht, and it's been very entertaining. And looking down on the big Mercedes, you can see the drivers as we watch Dr. Johannes Kirchhoff. They have to wait until the car is completely straight before they put the power down. Ample power, but as we said, a long, heavy car, and you've got to get it straight before you accelerate up over the hill, over Hunsrück, down through that wonderful sweeping segment through Slottermacherbocht, and then over the crest, the furthest point that we can see on this circuit, and then the dipping right-hander into the cleft between the dunes on the run down to Masterbocht. But certainly, yes, driving a Lamborghini around here versus an SLS AMG Mercedes, very, very different proposition. And Jeroen Mull just waiting to see what his first flying lap time will be after that fuel stop. It wasn't such a long fuel stop, John. It was whole time in the pits was 4 minutes and 8, and I don't think that was too bad, actually. I think that's about standard, but we have seen longer, that's for sure.
I don't think they needed a full tank.
Yeah, and they didn't need any tyres. They just drove in to get fuel, didn't they?
Well, no tyres is brave. Sorry, who were we talking about there?
I was talking about the Lamborghini, Jeroen Mull.
Yeah, I think it's brave, but I think they've got more chance of doing it. They just had to spend less time in the pits than the cars ahead of them. I was sort of surprised when they came in and splashed. To be honest, I thought they might have taken the track position and just trying to drive away, but clearly they couldn't go to the end from where they were.
But just looking down there, we talked about the nimbleness, relative nimbleness of the Lamborghini, and Jeroen Mul was able to hug the apex, the white line, the whole way around the bottom part of Hugenholzbach before accelerating away, whereas the race-leading 33 Mercedes and the other big SLS AMG Mercedes, by and large, take a much higher line. They just don't seem to have the balance, and as I say that, of course, the number 3 takes a much lower line and copies the line that Jeroen Mul took. But Jeroen, last time around, was doing a 1 minute 43.9. So was Renger van der Zande leading the race, 1 minute 42.7 for the number 2 second place Mercedes. And another one in the 43s, Diederik Sithoff, who's had limited time since his prang yesterday in the V8 Racing Corvette, but he is 13 laps down on the leader. So very unlikely to gain the places he needs to go up the order. He's a lap and a bit behind Jeroen Mul in the Lamborghini. Just under 1 hour to go, John. We have crested 11 hours in this race.
It is coming up to 6 o'clock. It's just getting a little bit overcast. The evening beginning to draw in. We won't be finishing in darkness at all here. It stays light till very late on in the evening. Diederik Sithoff puts the fastest lap of the race in for the 5 Corvette. 43.448, 151.1 for Jake Camilleri in second place in that Mark Cars Australia as we head towards the final hour of the first ever running of the Hankook 12 Hours of Zandvoort. Well, we've got a 60-minute dash to the flag now here at Zandvoort. It's John Hindhaugh, Bruce Jones and Nick Damon down in the pit lane. It's been slightly on and off today. Rather too much code 60. We've had some big incidents dealt with, but I should say, absolutely immaculately by race control and by the marshals. But it's rather broken up the flow of the race. Nick Damon is down in an empty pit lane.
But I have just seen an automotive equivalent of Lazarus.
Really?
The 73 Seat is back out again.
No way.
It's been repaired again and again and again. They've sent it out. It went out to a huge round of applause from all the mechanics, and now it's completing another lap.
Well, this is the D1 Seat of Red Camel Tactics, the Dutch ended car, 2-litre TDI, Rick Breukers, Bart Ognick, Alex de Vries and Rob Kringen. And it's Rob at the wheel of that, I think, at the moment. Yes, it is.
Completed 104 laps.
Against 299 for Renger van der Zande. 300 laps will be in the books when he comes through this next time. Well over 1,200 kilometres. And he's got a decent lead now. Better part of 5, nearly 6 laps between himself and the Mercedes-Benz of Maxi Buch in second place.
Well, really, the gap we want to look at is the 1 minute 36, but that is the deficit from for Jeroen Mul in the Lamborghini, who's chasing after third place Dr. Johannes Kirchhoff in the number 3 Mercedes. 1 minute 36 at the moment.
Well, it's a lap and that. Because
yes, right,
next time Johannes comes through, he'll go to 289. Just a little quirk of how we're looking at the screen at the moment. But Mul is pushing hard, and if there's any final stop, I don't think they will need a final. He's only got 7 minutes in hand on Kirchhoff as he goes through now. 289 to 287, but Mul's going to keep the pressure on. This is a podium position they're looking for. And
Mul is a much, much younger man. He's a man, I think, in his 20s, and Johannes Kirchhoff, let's say, is around the half-century mark, I would suggest, and driver fitness. But last time around, Kirchhoff did a 1 minute 58. Last time around for Jeroen Mul, a 1 minute 42.9. I'm sure that Kirchhoff was slightly delayed. He's been quicker than that, much quicker, but we will see. The gap is coming down. So we could yet have a Lamborghini breaking the Mercedes hegemony at the top of the field.
And we've got one of the Focus stopped. It's the 92 car. I'm also hearing the 41 car, which is second place in A3T, has stopped, and possibly the 85 as well.
We've got one car being towed back in. I couldn't see what that was. Going through turn 13, which is...
41 is second in A3T. That's the Seat.
And I think that's one of the Mark cars.
Yes,
Australia, very slow going through Kumo Bocht.
That's the 92 car. That is the 92 car, definitely
Michael
saw that.
Benton on board, 5th in SP2.
What I'm looking for is...
Who's being towed in? It looks like white car with the red wings. Is that the 95 perhaps?
Is that not the 41?
Mission Possible.
92. 92, 85, 41. All cars in trouble at the moment.
Well, 92 we can see coming into the pit lane, but he's doing so under his own steam, albeit with not as much steam as he would like.
Right.
And it's a red and white BMW being towed in. Is that the Sorg Motorsport, the Mission Possible 95? I think it could well be. No, it's 82. It's the car that went so well. MDM Motorsport Mercedes. Simon Knapp did a great job in that, but that had hugely long pit stop.
They had to get new clutch in, didn't they?
41 is back on the track for Harry Hilders. He hasn't lost his second place, but he was trying to challenge the 42 of Martin van der Berg.
Yellow flag at Schivlach. Waved yellow flag at Schivlach. I can see at the moment they're waving it. 2 cars have gone past, so someone has possibly dropped it at the corner out there. Car 85 has stopped at post 15.
And the 85 car is who?
85, of course, I've managed to
I don't think there is an 85.
List, I was going to say.
I can't find an 85.
I shall fall quiet for a moment. Shoes and socks off. We've got an 86, which of course is the... is that still going? That's leading SP2. 2 minute
Please
lap.
tell me it's not
2 minute lap last time around.
That's ish. No, there's the Audi going through, so it's not that car.
There is no 85.
Correct. So I wonder if that was the BMW that's just been pulled in. What number was that?
82.
Well, that should have been 95. It could be 95.
No,
but it was 82 we saw come in, another red and white
92, which is the Ford. And they're the only 2 cars that called the pits. The 92.
Okay, pit caller. Who's it? Oh, looks like the Lotus Evora coming in.
Yeah, the Lotus Evora is coming in to get her own driver change and some tyres. They've got 4 at the moment.
We've still got to work out waved yellows at Schivlach. Oh, as I say that, they've just been withdrawn.
How annoying.
Looks like some of the smaller cars now just are coming in for their final stop to take them to the final hour. The Lotus Evora is taking the speed limit very seriously.
He's the class-leading Peugeot coming in to the field to the pits from 13th position. This is the A2 leader, Jens Hansen, at the wheel of the RCZ. Still, Nick, looking pretty much as it's set off.
I don't know whether it's got flat.
Are they getting it washed every time it comes in?
It's got old-fashioned flat paint colours with a high gloss finish, and perhaps it's just every now and again they give it a wipe and just fall into some dirt rejection, but it really is completely unmarked and unscathed entirely.
It doesn't even have any black marks around the exhaust or anything like that.
I think basically they've been driving that car very much within themselves, going, we're winning, we're fine, let's just trundle around, don't come near me, don't touch my car. But it looks great.
That's how I drive Eve's TT, if I'm honest.
I can't believe she even allows you to do it.
Doesn't very often.
No.
When she's out, maybe.
Don't touch it. She's taking the keys with her. I'll tell you that now. I won't be getting in it tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't mention the Pathfinder.
Yeah.
But just say the 92.
The mighty Pathfinder.
Sorry, the 92 car, just for a bit of a... the 41 machine, the Seat, has now lost its front bumper as well.
Yeah, that went off. Harry Hilders went off, rejoined. That was at the end of the lap.
And he's serving a stop and go. So this hasn't got a front bumper or rear bumper, so I'd like to make minimum weight anymore, that's for sure.
I just want to throw something in. 1 minute 50... it's just been adjusted on the screen. I was going to say 1 minute 51 for Jeroen Mull in the Lamborghini. No way. He's just done a 1 minute 44, so he is continuing to close in. I think that was a little timing glitch. I thought I might have had the start of a story for you there as Jeroen Mull in the Lamborghini tries his hardest to catch up the number 3 Mercedes to get up onto the podium. He still will be chasing all the way to the end, just going beneath us at Hugenholzbock. No problem at all, running fine, but just that little shimmer of excitement there as I thought we had something else to be talking about. Someone hitting a little bit of trouble. Not that I'd wish it on anyone. Apart from you, Nick.
Obviously. The 41 is being held for a very long time for probably a selection of infringements, including not being dressed properly for the event. He's still there, which is at least about a minute already, and now he's been released, and he's going to make a very swift right-hand turn into the garage, because I don't think his front wheels are exactly pointing in the right direction anymore.
They're not, because as the car came past, it was definitely leaning down to the right-hand side.
Yes. When he tries to turn his front left wheel, all it does is rub on various parts of the bodywork. So he's shunted that, and the whole thing's either moved back or to the side.
And the front right tyre looked rather less full of air than it might have been.
It's got 20 laps, near enough. Hang on, let me just check that again. 257, 271. Well, okay, not quite. He's got 14 laps before he's got to worry about the 37 coming through.
So less than half an hour.
Yes, true. It is the E36 M3, the 3-litre car with the 3 Germans, Marco Petri, Frank Verhau and Peter Schepanek.
In fairness, they're not leaping all over it with hundreds of mechanics. As one man's kind of casually looking underneath it, it may well be it's what's commonly known as broken.
Well, well, well. You can talk about the curse of the Seat, can't you, Nick? That's what you like to throw in, but it does seem to be sagging somewhat.
I would like to point out that it's nothing unique to a Seat, that if you slam it into a barrier, it doesn't work as well as it did.
No, indeed. I'm merely talking about the unfortunate second part to this race.
Never run a Seat for longer than 45 minutes. They're fantastic, and then just either have like 10 Seats of 3/4 an hour each, or
and run them in as a relay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
There is one about to win its class. You realise that, the A3T class.
Yeah. Well, it's like laws of diminishing utility. If you send enough out, one of them's going to work.
Is it? Who's that? Who's the Japanese Grand Prix driver that you think should only ever do 55 minutes?
Takuma Sato.
Yes,
half an hour. Do half an hour, absolutely fine.
Yeah.
After that, brain fade. Who knows?
So
it's gone.
Seats are the Takuma Sato of endurance racing, are they?
You said it, and I wouldn't disagree with you.
I thought you were going to go back to Tora Takagi. Do you remember they used to get very upset sending him out for more than 3 laps in the Sunday morning warm-up, because by the time he got to the 4th, that was normally the time he'd throw his Tyrrell into the barriers.
He was odd, because he was actually theoretically quite good.
He was.
In
Theoretically?
Japan. No, in Japan he was really quite good.
On paper, he's a fantastic driver.
And when he
came to
Europe and he completely lost the plot.
48 minutes to go before Nick digs himself into a bigger hole. Lots of people joining us here on RadioLeMans.com, and we're down to, well, probably inside the last pit stops for most people now. Those that haven't stopped, I'm just looking to see people who've got an hour and more in hand. The Peugeot 208, I think, will have to make one more stop. Renger van der Zande will make a stop and put Peter Schmidt in to go to the end, is my money on that. But that, I think, is the only significant stop at the head of the field.
Yes, the rest have all been out for 15, 20, 25 minutes. They've got time plenty in hand, and the 208 Peugeot, well, that should be able to run all the way to the finish.
And I think, I'm looking at the other class leaders, the TT Audi, Martin Schornier at the wheel of that SP2 lead, up to 6th position now. He's been in for 21 minutes. Yes, I think he can go at the end. The A5, the 208 car, Gonzalo Montandre, I think he might, that's the Peugeot 208 GTI. A5 leader, 7th position. I think probably a splash for that car. I'm just not sure he can do another 50 minutes. I may be wrong. They have been going long, but that car's already done 7 stops. They have had a couple of stops for a bit of overheating on those cars in the heat of the day. SP3 leader, Mike Barton at the wheel of the number 21. That's the PG Motorsport Porsche. Now, how long's he been in? 25 minutes. He might need a splash as well. No, maybe not. Hour and a half. Probably can do an hour and a half in that car. He's got the long-distance tanks in it. So I think we're all okay. It's now down to who finishes the race for the 33 car collection team, and whether Jerome Mull can put enough pressure on to spook any of the drivers of the 3 car. It's Dr. Johannes Kerkhoff at the wheel at the moment. Or whether he can just close them down. He's still the better part of 2 laps behind, but he's lapping 5 and 6 seconds a lap quicker than the car ahead of him.
Yeah, and another story I'm looking at, I want to see how far the number 1 Mercedes can work its way back up the order. He's in 13th place. He started this morning in about 44th position.
44th it was.
And he spent an age not getting into the top 40. Such were the gaps ahead of him, but he's
and
closed up.
He's
about to possibly move ahead of the 34 BMW from the A5 group to go into 12th place overall. Not lapping enormously fast, but certainly I think he's almost got as far as he can get, 12th place.
I think, but he's lost more laps to the leader. He was 24 laps down this morning, which would take him to 98, and he's the leader's on 305, so he's lost another 7 laps.
Well, he had the problem with the gull-wing door, don't forget.
Of course he did. Well remembered.
They did several pit stops, one to try and close it, the next one to try and open it, and then they took the struts off and put them back on again. But certainly when you go racing, you don't normally think a door, unless you've had a contact, is going to be the big problem.
Sounds like a terrible country dance, that. You put the struts on in, the struts on out, get the door in.
You know, radio's a fabulous thing, but actually seeing Nick doing the little dance with that from the pit lane will stay with me for a while.
Oh, thank you very much.
I missed that. Can we have a reprise, please, without the music?
Well, you do realise on the Dubai Highlights 2013, which Creventic put out all around the world, there's me and Lisette Brahms having a bit of a dance, which we were doing because we didn't think they were filming, because we were waiting to get a Motors advert breakaway, so we were just mucking about. They then recorded that, ISO'd it, and stuck it out in the highlights.
As out goes...
the car.
Number 41.
The car next to you, Nick.
The 41, it's going that way, I can see it.
Harry Hilders, second in the A32
So obviously they didn't need three people to fix it, and it obviously wasn't quite as broken as it looked. So perhaps the issue was that they had a flat, and it was leading down the wrong way, and that's why it looked why things were rubbing on everything.
I think it was a flat front right, Nick.
No, the left-hand wheel was also rubbing on the bodywork, but as the Seat car's bodywork has been rubbing on various bits of other parts of Seat cars all the time, and only 4.5 reels of super strong duct tape can solve that. Let's keep going.
Okay, here's one for you. Number 93, second in the SP2 class, is hunting down the 208 Peugeot with Gonzalo Martin de Andre in it, but Jake Camilleri has just lapped in 1 minute 50.
Fastest lap.
So he's 7 seconds faster. He's a lap down on the 208, but we could see the SP2. They said their progress would be stealthy. It certainly has been, but second and third for the Mark Cars Australia Focus V8s is a very, very fine return. And when I spoke to, I'm trying to think which of the Neils it was I spoke to. It was Brett Neal.
It was Brett, yeah.
He was saying that he hasn't raced this car before, son of Malcolm, but they have been doing the Creventic races for several years. But so he didn't have a run at Bathurst, so to him it's a real shakedown. But he said he got a hold of this car very well, very quickly. 8th at the moment, could get up to 7th place, which would be a very strong result for them.
Renger van der Zande 1:43.4. That's all he needs to do. Maxi Burke 44.6 has got 5 laps in hand. First and second, I think, are sorted, barring any big issues. But I'm still Jerome Mull. I don't think has got enough time with 43 minutes left to pull back the time without a stumble from the number 3 car.
Yeah, we just have to see how consistent Dr. Kirchhoff can be in the number 3 Mercedes. He's lapping in 1 minute 48, but as long as he can keep doing that,
that's all he has to
be
do.
Just enough. And Jeroen drops down to the 1 minute 42s. He's the fastest driver out there at the moment, slightly faster than Renger van der Zande in the 33 Mercedes that's leading the race. But I think that code 60 just cost the chance.
I agree.
That Jeroen Mull needed. He did have the speed, but you lose 5 minutes under that, you're stuffed.
And can I just mention that Weber Haller is back in the lead in the 75 BMW of D1 because of the pit stop for Dirk Schultz earlier that we were talking about, that BMW number 74.
Yeah, leaking that fluid, which you thought were fairly
which
short.
It hasn't come out yet. That's 44 minutes ago.
Okay, well, and also don't forget that the SVDP car we're talking about, number 75, that had wheel bearings problems. They thought they got it fixed. It came out, went out, came back in again with the same problems. So they lost more time.
And Maurice Ball in the 38 D1 car, which is the Velman Vos BMW, the Dutch car, is within 4 laps of getting on the podium ahead of the Volkswagen, which was retired some time ago. But if it stays in third, it's in third. All cars are classified. All cars are classified. But I think they're going to lose that before the end of the race. A fantastic run by the 71 TTC squad. They led that class at various times.
Sorry.
Go ahead, mate.
No, the 41's back. Obviously, it was a lap out to see whether the wheels were pointing in the right direction, and
maybe they weren't.
And the decision is, who knows? But they dropped it again. They've had a look, seeing what. I think they've decided what's actually rubbing on what, and will it last 30 to 41 minutes?
No, Nick, they actually brought it back in because you failed to see it leaving last time. You were doing your dance.
The 41 is leaving.
The interesting thing about that is they will get to a point in the race where they can park it, and Peter Schenpanak in the 37 in third position, the E3T car, the E36, will not be able to catch it.
In fact, that's a really, really good point, that they only need to do a few more laps, not the whole 41 minutes.
Correct. They're 11 laps ahead at the moment.
They're 22 minutes ahead, effectively, then.
Right, so once you get down to 20 minutes, they can park that. so long as they haven't lost too much more time.
One of the interesting things we're seeing amongst some of the let's say the smaller teams is that when you get new tyres, you're not getting new tyres anymore. You're getting,
the recycling.
You're getting the best of the ones that have come off before. So there is a set of new tyres actually laid out for one of the number 1 and number 2. So there's actually potential for the stop for one of the Horman racing cars, which is interesting. So either one of the 2 is going to be stopping at some point before the end of the race. They've got the tyres out ready for it.
Well, let's see who it will be, because they're running. It won't be number 2. They've done 28 minutes on this run. Roland Eggerman has done just under an hour, so it'll be the number 1 that's just moved up into 12th place overall, 6th overall in the A6, the fast car class, but has been regaining ground bit by bit just past the 48 Peugeot RCZ, so picking off, but he's got about 3 laps to gain on the next car if he wants to move up, and this pit stop will certainly put him backwards.
Yeah. And we have a pit lane that it actually resembles the first 20 minutes of the race, where only the BMW M Coupe was in the pits, because that was in about 3 times yesterday. And any second now, we're going to have nobody on the pit apron. And not much action, because the cars that were in the garage have all basically been retired. Rather, they were doing some work on the 74 Coriolis 1 Series that dropped that gearbox, but they've actually got it reassembled. It looked it wasn't working. I think they've now abandoned that one as well.
Number 2 goes on to another lap. That's 304 completed. Renger van der Zande in the race leading 33. Mercedes has done 309 laps. But what's happening is Maxi Buch is just pressing hard. He's doing 1 minute 43s, 1 minute 44s. Renger van der Zande is doing 1 minute 45s, 1 minute 46s. He doesn't need to push. I think he's going to be in. Keep an eye out, Nick. I reckon he'll be in within the next 10 minutes. In the race leading 33.
We've got
Mercedes.
A car off at Tarzan on the infield, coming back out from driver's left. It's an interesting place to have gone off. Is it one of the Hondas? No, it's the 92.
93. Jake Camilleri car, which is second in SP2.
Sorry, you're right, it is.
8th overall, and he's just dropped it. Funny, I just watched that come down the start-finish straight and then moved on to look at other things.
Well, Jake Camilleri, slightly chastened, heads off onto the far side of the circuit, now going underneath our feet. Jens Hansen,
but you see,
the A2 leader.
But John, he was gaining 5 seconds a lap on the car that he was trying to hunt down, which is the 7th place 208 numbered Peugeot.
It's not a pass for positioning class.
No, but
it doesn't mean anything. What, to be 7th or 8th?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it may be nothing to do
unless
with that.
He's thinking he's putting pressure on Martin Chaunier in the TT. Fair dues.
But they're lapping at the same pace, but albeit the Chaunier in the TT is 6 laps ahead of him. So
6 laps, which is 6 minutes.
600.
And so it's about 10 minutes, isn't it?
So he's almost precisely 10 minutes.
So there goes the 86. The Audi TT down into Tarzan, goes right over the inside of the circuit to get past one of the BMW 120s. Headlights ablaze, and the spotlights as well on that car now, bright yellow. It's being caught very quickly by Maxi Buch as they go into Hugenholtz right in front of us. Takes the wider line, the TT, missing the second apex a little bit, but that's not an issue. Stays to drivers right and through. Goes Maxi through the kink at the top of the hill. It's a bit more of a kink than it looks, that, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's sort of concealed from us, but Jeroen Mul might as well back off, because a mistake on the timing screen has him put 3 hours, 34 minutes, 49.36 seconds down on the 3rd place, number 3 Mercedes.
That could be hard to make up in the next...
well, let's see what he can do. So Renger van der Zande, 311 laps on the board, 36 minutes remaining. Maxi Buch is on 305 laps in 2nd place, and Dr. Johannes Kirchhoff is holding down 3rd in the number 3 Mercedes. We talked of the Lamborghini of Jeroen Mul. He has done 299 laps to run in 4th place. Then 5th place also by another of the A6 cars. That's the V8 Racing Corvette with Diederik Sittoff on board, and then leading SP2 in 6th overall, Martin Chaunier.
Got a media information bulletin that will be going out in the next few minutes, and thanks to Craventix for giving it to us first. After the incident at 16:24 at turn 7, the cars involved in the accident all sustained damage. Medical teams arrived quickly at the scene. The drivers were first taken to the medical centre of the circuit Park-Zandvoort. Driver of the car, this is after checks in the medical centre, driver of the car 9, that was
Yuri
Presarik, released without injury. Driver of car 47, which was Sonny Nelson, that was the DK Racing Clio, transported to hospital for further medical checks. And driver of the 105, that was Christian Dick in the G50 Ginetta Speedworks, transported to hospital for further medical checks. All drivers were in a responsive and conscious condition. All the 3 cars involved in the accident have retired from the race. I am so pleased to have had that in my hand.
I can tell, John.
Let's do the last 34 minutes of the race.
Yes,
and thanks to Krevennik for passing that to us, by the way.
Yes, because it's horrible for everybody involved, everyone listening, to be left in that sort of limbo. And again, it was an accident we didn't get to see. It was just out of our sight over the crest at Chevlac, where they dropped down behind the dunes. So the clean-up was as fast as it possibly could be, and they got the drivers into the ambulances and away for those first 2. Christian Dick and for Sonny Nielsen to go off to hospitals in Haarlem and Amsterdam for further medical checks. So that's very good news indeed.
So we continue with the last 35 minutes of the race with Renger van der Zande. I would say due in the next, any time in the next 10 minutes. I think half an hour to go. They'll give Martin Schmidt the chance to finish off the race in that 33 car.
Just being told there's a yellow flag. It's at turn 7, which is Chevlac. I can't see it being hung out, but I just saw car 73 has stopped over there.
It is waving, yeah.
Car 73, that is the, it's the Red Camel Seat Leon that's spent so much, the yellow and black one that spent so much time in its pit garage. We had Nick reported how everybody cheered when it got going again, and I presume it's possibly just suddenly...
Possibly apart from the marshals.
Yes, apart from the marshals. Maybe it just, who knows, coasted out of our sight, perhaps.
I do applaud them though, because the car did look quite good when they got it out. It didn't actually look ramshackle put together. It was all clean, all the body. It was the only set with all its panels on the right in the right place. Unfortunately, it appears that the actual mechanical part, which the rest of the set seems to knock off with no problem at all, is causing the problem. It's very quiet, isn't it? Everyone's just doing their laps, and these pits are incredibly quiet.
I'm just trying to see who's been doing a long stint. Renger van der Zande is hour 11.
He's going to be in soon because suited and booted is Mr. Schmidt. So Renger is going to give him the last half hour. As you said, Bruce, excellent work. It's almost like you've been to a race meeting before.
You what?
So we're going to get the leading car with a driver change in the next 3 or 4 minutes, I would think.
313 laps completed by Renger van der Zande in the race, leading 33 Mercedes, lapping in the 1 minute 45s. And I can tell you no more. We've just momentarily had the timing screens go for a rest. They've been rebooted, I guess, and he is leading by 6 laps from Maxi Bouk, who's pushing as hard as he can. He was the 5th driver brought into this strange arrangement of making it 5 drivers in car number 1 and the same 5 drivers in the sister car number 2. We thought, had they stayed close, John, we were discussing this yesterday, because they were dicing over the lead together, how were they going to orchestrate the shuttling of the drivers between those cars? They had it easier today because they could put their quicker drivers into car number 2, which is still well placed, and let the slower drivers in that quintet drive number 1. But in fact, they have shifted them around through the course of the day, but it's certainly made for far less head scratching. Yes,
they gave themselves a logistical nightmare with drivers only being allowed to drive for 2 hours at a time, and then they have to take 2 hours off effectively. So that was the issue. Last half an hour, Nick, your nomination please for Spirit of the Race.
I think it actually has to go to the garage of Ivo Lucas, which contains both the 104 and the 73 car, because they have all been constantly working to repair various issues, and I had kind of hoped the 73 was going to get to the end. So my vote is for that particular garage, Ivo Lucas, and his 73 and 104 cars, just because they just don't seem to be able to catch a break.
Yeah, all right. I think, for me, it's going to be the 86 team, the Bezaplast team, big supporters of Krevennik, and they've just gone about their job quietly, consistently. They're up to 6th position. Might win the class, should win their class. Not necessarily got to be a class winner, of course. I'll definitely say the Peugeot guys as well. I think they've done a cracking job. But again, they might win their class. One car that has stealthed up into a decent position, by the way, is the Lotus, now up into 16th position and second in SP2. Maybe that's worth a shout as well. And I think we should probably say the number 5 team, the Corvette, binned the car early, fixed it, sent it back out. Diederik Sitov sitting in 5th position at the moment. Any thoughts on the spirit of the race, Bruce?
You know, I always find it very hard. When you said 86, I was thinking about them because they have just got it right. 6th overall, leading SP2. And in fact, you then mentioned number 5, the V8 Racing Corvette. Don't forget, that was binned in qualifying. And Nick, did ask them on the grid. And qualifying and the first part of the race were on the same day. How can you be sure the car's straight? And they went, it is, but is it? But anyhow, and then later, of course, we had that front right-hand corner, the corner that hit the wall down here early on. That collapsed as a result of that. But for me, the spirit of the race, I'm finding it very hard to pin it on anyone. I would actually say it has to go to the marshals and the race organisers for cleaning up the incidents we've had here, running the Code 60s very well. Of course, we'd have liked less time under Code 60, but just some of the initiatives and just looking at how the course officials have worked this afternoon, I think I have to give it to them ahead of anybody else, just simply because they've done a very, very good job.
Yeah, okay. Vote for them, vote for someone else. It's at Radio Le Mans, hashtag SOR. The responsible adult will sort all of that out at Radio Le Mans on Twitter, hashtag SOR for your votes, please, for spirit of the race.
And as if to sort of cement its chance of getting voted for, the 73 Seat has come in from its problem, which was obviously driver caused, but it's actually just gone through the gravel. They're cleaning it up, and they've done a driver change, so they will be re-entering the race again. So they're re-entering the race in a short time, because that was that wasn't mechanical, that wasn't Seat bodywork, that was just the driver not pressing the brake and the accelerator in the right combination of times at the right part of the track.
Okay.
Mere details, Nick.
Mere details. Renger van der Zande has done a sterling job, as has Maxi Buch. 5 laps between them at the moment, but no less of a battle at the head of the field. Just seeing one or two of the other cars going round that you might like to vote for. The number 50 Renault Clio still running. Prashant Thrani at the wheel of that at the moment. That ripped the front end off earlier on when it went off right behind us here.
I've just had another little thought.
You heard?
It's finished me off, frankly. Number 90, if we did it by the 3-hour stint last night, the Renault Megane Trophy entered by Equipe Vachour was very, very good. And when they had to own up to me that they had to retire it today after its prang, they said, had we managed to straighten the bits or managed to put the bodywork down and find it was straight, we'd have been back out there, but the damage was too great. So unfortunately, they were really taking it to the big boys in A6 in their SP2 class Renault Megane Trophy, and it didn't work for them, but they were showing all sorts of vim and vigour and no little speed.
71 TTC Volkswagen Golf getting a bit of love out there as well. That's a car that won't make it to the finish, but led its class. Also the Ginetta team, they were dominant in their quest for SP3, and in fact still sit in 3rd position, and I'm just looking down to see if they can be beaten. I don't think they can. It's Bert de Huys who is, let me see, 132 laps to 240. No, they're going to get a podium. They are going to get a podium. Christian Dick transported to hospital for further observations after that nasty accident. They were bossing the SP3 race. Car was immaculate. It's a little Viper-esque, as we mentioned earlier on.
Yeah, and of course they lost their main challenger in the 76 Nissan Nederland entry, the 370Z, that took a 10-lap penalty for being worked on last night and then hardly got going today before pulling off. But certainly that Ginetta was going very well indeed.
The number 1 car comes down the pits, I think just to pick up some fuel to get the end. And here comes our leader. Renger van der Zande brings in the 33 car collection 2 machine. hits its marks, the door is open, it doesn't pop off at a strange ridiculous angle, it actually goes up like a gull wing door is supposed to. And in gets Peter Schmidt. He will have the honour of taking the car home, hopefully. The 4 new Hankook boots get put on. Haven't Hankook done a fantastic job here in their first association with Creventic?
Well, there's perhaps another nomination for Spirit of the Race.
Because you have to say, they've had to put different tyres of different diameters and profile ratings. We've never seen a tyre seem to, all the classes have been kept even despite the fact they use different tyres.
Yeah, good point.
So anyway, so we have Renga. There's a live interview with the driver as he's watching the car. Renga, you're watching your car about to start off what you hope will be a half-hour victory run.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, it takes a bit long this driver's change, but no, it's okay. I mean, we had a fantastic day. Yesterday was okay. Today was fantastic. Speed is in the car because I think even now on the old tires I was still doing 42s, and yeah, very happy. I mean, the team is well organized and they do it well. And I also have to say a big thanks to the marshals because they wave the blue flags and the yellow flags as well, very clear, and that helps a lot with a fast car like this to overtake the slower cars. So
you had some problems yesterday with the fuel pump, which kept you off the back of the grid. But I mean, if you'd started at the front of the field as you thought you should have, do you think your car would have been as fast as the 2 cars we saw yesterday? Because it seems that perhaps they're still slightly faster than you, but your car just run better.
yeah, I mean, I think the thing is in qualifying we found out that the real fuel pump was really broken, so that really helped us to fix the problem before the race. So I think we were slow in qualifying, but it gave us a good race for that. So I can only be happy. I mean, lap time wise, I think cutting through traffic takes a lot of risk. It's however you take the risk. So maybe that's where they got collided at one point. And I'm very happy with the car, fast enough to win the race. So it's okay.
And have you enjoyed being the sort of the star driver for a weekend, the one everyone turns to?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was thinking in the car, like, I know Zandvoort pretty well, but probably now I know it even better. So, but no, the cut in the middle is funny because I've never had it before. The track becomes really cold and warm again during the day, so you can see the difference in what happens on the balance of the car and so on. So, I think it's a good concept, and I think the Dutch guys here, it's a Dutch organization, so at least they should have a Dutch race and maybe a Dutch winner. So.
We'll find out in about 24 minutes. Thanks, Renga. So that is theoretically one of the winning drivers. But as we know, nothing is certain until the checker flag falls.
71 Golf, the Swiss-entered TTC Motorsport team that I've just mentioned, has been cleaned up. It is no longer black and dirty around the back as it was, and it's been pushed rather disconsolately away. It has dropped off the podium now and is in 4th position. Just lost that position about 10 minutes ago to Maurice Ball in the 38 BMW.
Not so much TTC, it's TTFN. Ta-ta for now, and off it goes.
Absolutely.
Push back to the back. That's been retired about 2 hours ago, actually, but at least they're now just going to take it out and load it onto the transporter and hopefully be back, as it said on the banner on the rear window, see you at the next Creventic event at Barcelona. Quite a sort of family feel about these Creventic shows now.
Very much so.
A lot of people, some do only a handful of races each year, some only do the Dubai 24 hours to get their season underway. But speaking to the Neal family up from Australia, they've been doing these for several years. They plan to be at a few more this year. So you do get to know the other drivers out around you. And Renger van der Zande, just speaking to Nick Damon down in the pit lane, praised the marshals for waving the blue flags, and earlier he said to me the difference between yesterday and today is a lot of the drivers of the tail end cars are much more conversant with how to keep out of the way and really did a very good job so far today. So Peter Schmidt just came out of the pits in the 33 Mercedes, leading the race by 3 laps. He's now working his way around his outlap over through Schieflach and down at the drop to the twisty corners that take you to the far end of the circuit at the Mastersbach and then bring you back this way.
Let me remind you that this is only the middle course, if you like, for the Super Endurance weekend. The first 2 days, Friday and today, Saturday, have been the Zandvoort Hankook 12 hours. Tomorrow we move on to the first on-site live broadcast from the 24 Hours of Le Mans for 2014, and it is Mobile One Radio Le Mans 91.2 FM. Paul Trustwell back in the Walking Data Centre, along with Graham Goodwin of DailySportsCar.com and Sam Collins of race car engineering, providing some expert analysis to what's going on around the circuit de South. And in the pit lane, the Nismo hashtag Eat, Sleep, Race, Repeat pit lane for 2014. Shea Adam and Joe Bradley will be getting all the stories and interrupting debriefs to make sure that you get the information first, fast and free on radiolemans.com, mobile one radiolemans.com, 91.2 FM around the track and around the world on the web, of course. Live tomorrow morning from 8 o'clock UK time on the web and on the FM down at Le Mans. But we've still got 20 minutes to go here. 41 car, I reckon you can park it now, Nick, if they need to. Harry Hilders is still out there.
Yeah, I think they are now getting down those last 10 laps, but I assume if it's running and it's not pulling too much to the left or too much to the right, it'll probably just want to take the flag.
Now, one car we haven't talked about a great deal today has been the Mission Possible entry for the 4 paraplegic drivers. Car number 95, it's in 27th position, it's 5th in the A5 class. And I can't remember which of the drivers you spoke to yesterday, but I think it was Mark Dilger, the German driver. Yes, it was. It was he drives in the Porsche series. He was saying
the Austrian driver.
Oh, was it? I beg your pardon. And but he was talking about how it's the first time they've had 4 paraplegic drivers working together as a team. We've looked at the ramifications and the machinations of their pit stop, but it's not just about the 4 drivers in the team. They have a lot of paraplegic supporters here this weekend. It is mission possible. Possible is the operative word there, and well, mission is a pretty good word too. But hats off to the guys, and hopefully this is the start of a series of races they'll do. Maybe they will carry on and do more Creventic races this year, because certainly this format, and particularly with that break after the first 3 hours, has really, really benefited them, and they've kept their noses very clean. They had a little clash early, about 3 hours ago. It wasn't their fault. They just had a bit of contact. That delayed them a little bit. But completing this 12 hours, which they surely shall, with just 18 and a half minutes remaining, I think well done to all of them.
Yeah, and they are featuring in the Spirit of the Race nominations from you, our audience. Hashtag SOR to @RadioLeMans on Twitter, please. Nick, question for you. When the cars are being refueled, does the driver have to get out?
No.
All right, they just turn it off, and
it's not using like a high pressure fill. It's just literally using the petrol pump you would find down at Sainsbury's.
And the team provides someone to do that with the balaclava and a fire extinguisher.
Exactly right. 2 members of the team walk down with a balaclava. One I think carries a bit of concrete dust in case it's any spillage. They walk down in full fireproofs and refuel the car.
Question there from Alfred Wallace at Cadpig. That coming in at Specutainment. We'll give another 5 minutes on the Spirit of the Race Award. There'll be no post-race tech after this race tonight. We've got to pack up and get away relatively quickly this evening and give the good people here their circuit back. So our next post-race tech will be after the 24 hours of Le Mans. And we'll stay on the air after the podium ceremonies to wrap up that race until around about 4 o'clock Central European time. You've asked for it. Marino Franchitti suggested it, and we will do it for you. So at Le Mans is the next post-race tech here on radiolemans.com. Our schedule, by the way, just having the final touches put to it, and we will be releasing that in its entirety. But think of it as something similar to last year, all the features that you know and love, and 1 or 2 new ones as well, as we provide you the service on 91.2 FM around the circuit and around the world at radiolemans.com. For 2014, it is Mobile One Radio Le Mans. Make sure you let all of our partners know that you appreciate their support of your radio station for the world's greatest motor race. Watching the leading Audi, which is the 86 of Martin Shaunier, who's done a cracking job, and 306 laps under the belt of that TTRS leading SP2. Martin's been in for 52 minutes. He's got 16 to go. And nice to see some different cars, Bruce. You know, we were having a bit of a laugh about how few Ferraris and Porsches there are here. But, all right, Mercedes-Benz, we've become used to seeing those cars pretty much dominate in the Creventic events. But in the other classes, the Audi, the Peugeot, 1 or 2 Porsches in different classes. We're going to have a Porsche winner in one of the classes by the look of it, in the SP class. So I mean, it's all good news, and it's just a little bit different for it. It makes a change, doesn't it?
It does, because I mean, certainly we have had many 911s in their various derivatives, many 458 Italias. All that happened, as someone suggested, they just forgot to send the entry list, the registration forms to AF Corsa. So that was 12 Ferraris not making the journey. But you know, I don't mind. I'm happy to see whatever is put out there on the grid, and it is great. I mean, that little RCZ Peugeot has been so impressive, but it has done nothing dramatic. It's just kept going. The Seats around it have thrown themselves off left, right and centre. The BMWs have had slight problems, and good grief, arriving fresh from Dubai, we have 3 Camels, so Nick will not be disappointed.
And a spin for the 28 BMW right in front of us.
Probably
as
put
well.
off by the Camels, I would suggest. Looked over the barriers and thought, oh my golly, time travel.
Right in the middle of Hugenholtz box and rides the curb on the inside. Chantel Kroll, 4th position in A5. And then, has the engine stopped? There's some damage to the left
I think
rear.
it's firing up again there.
No, I can see the lights are dimming, but the car is not firing, so there's been a stall. Now it's fired. Some damage to the left rear valance of that car, but
only 15 minutes remaining in the race. That momentary loss of concentration, possibly looking straight into the sun, maybe put off by the Camels on the other side of the...
Almost certainly put off by the Camels. How did the accident occur? Imagine putting this on your insurance form.
Yes.
I was at Zandvoort and I was distracted by 3 Camels.
Try again, please.
They've got the sand dunes, so why not?
Well, yes, all right. Very good.
And they've got you down there, Nick.
They have. I'm just glad we haven't got the stick dancers, because they were a bit irritating.
It's local culture, Nick.
No, I'm not saying it was. I'm sure locally they're fantastic. You know, equally, I don't want to have to get past Morris dancers at Silverstone.
Yes, okay.
Or a bit of flamenco at Barcelona. You know, dancing in motor racing only works when I'm doing it.
Hold on a second.
You.
We'll move on and talk about the title. Oh, hold on. Car 34 and number 10 report to race control. It's a good thing there's no stair carpet. It'd have been worn out by now, wouldn't it?
34
up to race control.
Is the 2nd placed A5 car, Thomas Kolek.
One of the BMWs, yes.
Yeah. And number 10...
RTR Projects. Number 10 is Lippert Motorsport, Lamborghini Gallardo.
Yes, of course.
Jeroen Mull driving that. He's 1 minute 20 seconds behind the 3rd place Mercedes. Won't be able to do that, I'm afraid. We only have 13 and a half minutes remaining.
Yeah. But he's back. He is back on the lead. Oh, is he? No, he's not quite, is he? He's done well, though, to get
He
it
has
back
done
to
well.
that.
He's been chipping away. That was a slower lap that time around, a 1 minute 46.1. We'll see exactly where he's placed, but all we need to tell you is unless something very untoward happens to number 3, all the efforts of Jeroen Mull will come to no podium finish, but 4th place overall.
He's a lap and about a half behind, I think, at the moment. I'll tell you what, if he gets up on the till, could be interesting. Last couple of minutes of voting in the spirit of the race, please. One of the performances of the race, if not the spirit of the race, I'm not saying yes or no for that, but I should say the Mark Cars Australia.
Absolutely.
Because they have come from their debut at Bathurst, where they were in an invitational class and ran literally in a class of their own. The 3 cars came to the finish. They weren't under any pressure to, quote-unquote, compete. Here, that has not been the case. They have been thrown into a very, very competitive SP2 class, where there has been, in fairness, some attrition, but 2 of the 3 cars have run relatively faultlessly, and this concept has clearly got some legs for the future.
Yeah, not just consistently, they've run at pretty good pace.
Yeah,
and Jake Camilleri has really impressed. We saw him nearly getting under the 1 minute 50 mark, which is very, very good indeed. But
for an SP2 car,
SP2 car, he's running 8th overall. One of the sister cars with Keith Kausulki, the driver from Papua New Guinea, is in 10th and 3rd in that class, sandwiched just by the number 21 Porsche, which leads SP3, which is running around about to complete its 300th lap. Number 21, that is, the one that's silvery grey and looks as plain as can be.
996, yeah, not the most... well, it depends, but it's not my favourite look to the front of a 911. Got those sort of fried egg headlights, and it was the first of the water-cooled cars, of course, and in fact goes past us now. Fine. I mean, honestly, if not for the rear wing and the numbers, that car would look pretty straight stock.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is, I love that. I love to see cars that you could pretty much put a set of treaded tyres on and drive home doing races like this. I think it's the absolute essence of it. Really good. I've thoroughly enjoyed this event. We've got under 11 minutes to go. Nick Damon, have you had a good time? Have we transplanted some of the atmosphere of the Dubai 24 Hours and the other Creventic events into Zandvoort?
I think it's been a fantastic event. I mean, the split thing actually worked brilliantly. You know,
I do 6 and 6 next time.
I think basically the only slight downside was the big smash, but that seems that had a happy ending as such. And the rest of it's been really great. There's been a lot of camaraderie. You know, it's been really nice in the pit lane. I have been offered cups of coffee and stuff to eat. That's been really fantastic. Everyone wants to work with us. They want to talk. A typical Creventic event. Everyone wants to cooperate.
Yeah.
And people are helping each other across the pit lane. And the other great thing about it, as an old man of the pit lane, it's really short pit lane. It's fantastic. You get from one end to the other, no time at all. It's brilliant.
Yes, it's not like Le Mans where the car comes in at the opposite end.
Yeah. Where you're up in the row of woe and you've got an hour and a half's walk down to what used to be Peugeot or Toyota.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh really? Oh.
People for formation finishes now. The two Peugeots are driving round together. I'm not entirely certain that the 205's left front wheel is pointing in exactly the right direction in terms of the standard setup.
Yeah, it was a good job to get it out because it had a massive whack on the McPherson strut. So the chances of it actually being both correct for camber, caster and alignment are 0.
Lisette Brahms makes up a position on the overall in the number 102, up to 16th position in that Lotus, ahead of Harry Hilders in the 41 Seat, who is still second in A3T. I mean, I would have to say thank you very much to Gary Willems and the rest of his team at Creventic, Daphne, Natasha, everyone else who's looked after us prior to and at the event. There are some very big series who could learn some very simple lessons
can I just
about
say
how to put things on. Nick?
Can I just say one thing about big series?
Yeah.
How good is this radio mic?
Oh,
how good is this?
Yes, and you are listening to us as well. So, radio mic sorted by the technical guys here have been great. Raymond, thank you. I hope you're listening somewhere. And the guys who've been doing the streaming video as well. I think we might have overpowered them in the first part of the race yesterday. But yeah, really makes as someone who goes to an awful lot of tracks, this was the first time here. We didn't have the time to wreck it. It's all worked, touch wood, very well indeed. And as I say, there are series and events he could learn an awful lot from the passion and the professionalism that Creventic and the guys here at Zandvoort have showed us this weekend. Enjoyable for you, Bruce? You've been here before, of course.
I've been here quite a few times before, but I take the circuit as it is. I love Zandvoort.
Yep.
I love this commentary position. But what's made it for me, apart from the sheer friendliness down in my time in the pit lane, is the innovation that Creventic throw at everything. You know, motor racing isn't a brand new game. Lots of people come in, think they've got new ideas, don't want to listen to what's gone before. But Creventic, and led by Gary, are not doing that. They're taking all the best stuff that exists before and putting just even these timing screens, a remarkable timing facility we have here with Creventic events, and just adding new layers of intelligence. So I really, really am impressed. And the sun's shining, and we got to have steak last night.
Yeah, in the middle of a race. Yeah, timeservice.nl, thanks to Ronald and all of his team. And again, it's a small team, it's an enthusiastic team, it's a professional team. We, Radio Show Limited, are a happy band, and it's nice to work with like-minded people, is what I would say.
Exactly. And, you know, it's not nothing is too much trouble. It's just let's see what we can do to sort it.
Correct.
And you know, if it can't be sorted, fine. But they are going to, you know, they're doing their utmost to do so. But it's just the sheer intelligence of some of the things I've seen this weekend that really impressed me. And the racing, particularly last night between 2 and 1, being chased by 10 and 33, the Lamborghini trying to mix it with the Merc SLSs, I thought was fabulous. Today it's slightly come unstuck a little bit at the top end, but you can't help. Mechanical problems can come whenever they come.
Peter Schmidt is in that 33 car, taking it to the end. He's been in the car for 15 minutes. He's got 6.5 to go. Maxi Book will finish it off for the second place, number 2 Mercedes-Benz. And it looks like a Benz whitewash, the 3-pointed star on all 3 steps of the podium, with the number 3 in third position, Dr. Johannes Kirchhoff. My thanks also to Tim Gray, our executive producer, back in London, for his invaluable work, and the team down at Le Mans for chipping in earlier on today. It's the last 6 minutes, and just waiting for the notes to come through from Eve.
And the 74, the 120 diesel, which was leading its class a long time until it had that rear differential problem, is going to do the let's take the last few laps. In fairness to it, it's not been cobbled together. It's been put together properly by Koroiser. It may well be it's not running a huge amount of oil in the differential, the gearbox, but they're going to do the last couple of laps, John.
Okay. So let's go through some of the class leaders. Wubbe Herla has been in the number 75 BMW, leading the diesel class for a very long time. Earlier in the race, lost out a couple of times to the 71 TTC Racing Golf, and then of course to the Koroiser Scam Grip racing car, but it looks like they will come home to win the diesel category. So well done to those guys for not giving up, getting that car back out of there. Maurice O'Reilly and the rest of the 74 team, the Koroiser team, in second place. And in third, I think in third in D1 will be Maurice Ball's team, the Veltman Voss racing team. In Class A2, which is the next class up, Jens Hansen. There's two Jens Hansen. There's a Jens E and a Jens E Hansen, which didn't help us up here. That's the Peugeot RCZ, and they'll win that at the moment ahead of the 49 of Will Gannon at the wheel of that A2 car at the moment, and that's the Honda Civic Type R. That's Ricky Coomber's car, and the RKC TGM car have done a great race. Ricky Coomer with Tom and Will Gannon. Will Gannon at the wheel to finish off. Ferdinand Baratella will be in the third place A2 car, which is the 51 ATM Motorsport Renault Clio. In SP, let's do A3T, which is the next one. Martin van der Berg in the 42 Seat with the rest of his team, wins it from Harry Hilders in the 41, and Marco Petri has got up there in the A3T number 37. Quick reset of
the Precon Racing.
Yeah. Then we've got, what have we got? We've got SP2, SP3, Mike Barton in the 21. 303 laps for that car. And that class really has pretty much self-destructed. I can't even see where the next SP3 car is. SP3 second. Oh, it's Lisa Brown.
Lisa Brown in 16th overall.
Yeah, and in third place in SP3 is Christian Dick and the rest of the team. Christian in hospital, but none of the drivers suffering too badly, we hope, after that incident. All alert and talking to their rescuers. Yuri Pesarik uninjured, Christian Dick and Sonny Nelson transported to hospital, if you're joining us late, after that big accident with the Ginetta, the Clio and the leading Ferrari. SP2, it's the Audi TT, the 86 car that is leading at the moment from Jake Camilleri and Keith Kasulke in the two Mark Cars Australia. What a result that is. And at the top of the timing screen, it's Benz, Benz and Benz.
Benz, Benz and Benz indeed.
They have got a big, big reputation and finishing record in Creventic events, haven't they? Those Mercedes.
Absolutely phenomenal. But you think about the way they're structured, they are big, strong cars. But it's ironic that most of the problems they've had have been to do with how to get in and out of the car, those gull wing doors. How strange.
Spirit of the race is Mission Possible coming through from your vote. So congratulations to everybody behind that effort here at the Hankook 12 Hours of Zandvoort. There's no trophy, there's no prize, just the plaudits of the not inconsiderable audience, and I would say one of the most sensible and well-informed audiences that we have to deal with in endurance racing. Thank you for your company over the weekend as well, and Mission Possible is the choice for Spirit of the Race here at the Hankook 12 Hours. Mike Barton, with 1 minute and 13 to go in the number 21, second, leading rather, in SP3, has just put that car's fastest lap of the race in. Now, if I was his team manager, first of all, I'd be saying, what are you doing that for? This is the PG Motorsport Netherlands Porsche 996, of course. And secondly, why weren't you doing that earlier on?
That's where I was heading. It's fastest lap last night. I was just checking the 3 hours that ran between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock yesterday. We're 1.5 seconds slower than that time he's just pulled out.
52.1 for that Porsche.
He's got no one to chase. He's 4 laps down, 4 laps down on the cars ahead, 2 laps ahead of the one behind. But hey, weather conditions are perfect. The sun is shining. It's Zandvoort.
Do you think the team manager gets to go on and goes,
Mike, come on, Mike, don't be silly now. There's no need for that.
In a very sort of Christian Horner type way. Last 23 seconds, where is Peter Schmidt? He went across the line a wee while ago. He's bringing the car home. He has the honour of doing that. They've got a 4 and a bit laps in the bank.
The pit wall is already crammed, people pulling across.
Second place, Maxi Burke has stopped out on the circuit.
At turn 13, which is the penultimate corner.
Now, is this just for a formation finish?
Could well be.
There is Jeroen Kerkhoff going past us now through the hairpin. Where is the leader? We've got, the time has elapsed. The checkered flag will come out. And the winner of the first running of the Hankook 12 Hours of Zandvoort by Kreventnik will be Peter Schmidt, bringing the car home. There goes the number 10, Jeroen Mull. He'll be scored in 4th position.
Yep, they're on the last lap, as you said, John. So we talked about earlier about everyone gets classified. Imagine if you were number 2 and you really had stopped.
Yes.
In the final minute.
Yes.
At the penultimate corner.
We look to Arie Luyendyk for the leader, soon to become the winner of this fantastic event. Well, it looks like Jeroen Mull didn't see the checkered flag, because he and Diederik Scheidhoff are still running nose to tail. They're not battling for position, but there's a bit of honour here.
Just trying to see where exactly the 33 Mercedes is around the circuit.
Here's a Benz coming now.
Oh, is this it? Well, it's not number 7. That is the race winner coming in to take the checkered flag.
Last lap now.
Last lap board.
Last lap board has gone out.
Holding it out to the others.
So why has the car 2 stopped? He has got a lap or 2 in hand over 3rd place, but I'm slightly worried about Maxi Burke having stopped out on the far side of the circuit. We can't see him.
Well, it's a 1 minute 10 stint. He should have had enough fuel. What if he'd run out?
Wow.
That is a possibility, isn't it?
There goes Johannes Kerkhoff, who will be scored in 3rd. Maxi Burke's lost a full lap and will lose a 2nd full lap here if he hasn't come round. One lap too few for the number 3 car to make it a 1-2. There goes the 86, Martin Shaunier.
Well, he was flashing his lights in celebration, not knowing the team might have to tell him he's got to complete this lap as well.
Yeah, he's got laps in hand, in fairness. But I am a bit confused, if I'm honest, as to what's happened to Maxi Burke. Had there been one more lap, Bruce, we would have had the 3 car up into 2nd place if that car has stopped. There goes the 5.
We've even got a pit visitor, not bothering to take the finish on the slowdown lap. That's the number 51 Renault Clio. Yep, coming to the pits, waving, flashing the lights at his team. This is most extraordinary. The worst thing is there's a great big sand dune between us and the exit of turn 13, so we can't see anything to do with Maxi Burke and the Mercedes number 2. Will we see a change on that final lap? No, he's got that one lap in hand.
He's going to be 1 lap in hand. He is going to he's completed 323 laps and disappeared. He's fallen through a hole in the space-time continuum, but he'll still be 2nd place on the podium. TTC.
Taking their palm trees with them.
That's fantastic.
Inflatable palm trees.
The 71 team taking their inflatable palm trees with them. And we're still looking towards Arie Luyendyk. Here is the leader with a stream of cars behind him, forming up now behind Peter Schmidt, who brings them home. There is the number 1 car going through, Ronald Egerman.
In 12th place. We're still waiting now for this gaggle of cars that are going through Kumo Bocht. They'll be coming through Arie Luyendyk Bocht with plenty of celebration for the Martini-sponsored team.
3 cars coming through, and here is the winner, confirmed now, and going through alongside him.
It's sister car that finished 3rd.
Sister car finishing 3rd, and Maxi Burke does not finish the last lap. The 2 Peugeots come across the line together. They will finish 1st and 3rd in class. So 2 Peugeots on the podium as well. The 208 GTIs, 41 going through there is a class 2nd place for Harry Hilders and the Seat. Martin van der Berg has gone through, winning Class A 3T.
And Jeroen Mol, the chase came to nothing. He ended up fourth, but only 22 seconds down on Johannes
on the
Kirchhoff,
same lap.
On the same lap. He worked it back. He needed a few more laps. So the victor, Peter Schmidt, in the 33 Mercedes, completed 330 laps. Then on 323, but parked just before the end of the lap, is Maxi Buch in the number 2 Mercedes. And then making it 1 and 3 for the Car Collection Motorsport team. Number 3, finishing on 322.
One more lap, and Maxi Buch would have been off the podium.
Exactly.
Wow, that is such, well, good luck and bad luck for Maxi Buch. And did they run it dry, or did it have an issue? We haven't seen it. The flags are out. Nick Damon is down the pit lane.
And it's huge celebrations amongst the Car Collection team. Let's see if I can grab away one of the guys who didn't speak too much. Christian, great victory for the 33 car.
Yeah, my first victory, yes, in the 33 car.
It seemed like a very straightforward race, really. You just kind of kept out of trouble as a team.
Sorry.
A very straightforward race, you just kept out of trouble.
I don't understand you, sorry.
Okay, no worries, well done, congratulations. That was a good go. Let's go for the, we've got fantastic English. Ringer van Zender, a fantastic win for the team there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, Peter, the team owner, he drove it to the finish, and we were actually curious where is he coming, because it took so long the last lap. We thought might be something wrong, so I even missed him coming past. But no, it's fantastic. Great day, and as a Dutchman, to win the first 10 for 12 hours is very good for me. I like it.
Very well done. Congratulations.
2:23, the last lap for Peter Schmidt, and it almost caught out the number 3 car, that sister car. I think he was trying to wait to get the formation finished, but Jeroen Mol was pushing so hard it almost backfired on them.
Okay, here's one for you. Last night was 3 hours minus 1 lap. Today was 9 hours plus 1 lap.
Yeah,
that is why it seemed a lap later for us, and I think that might have caught out of a few of the teams. Did it catch out Maxi Buch in that number 2 Mercedes?
Into the pit lane, the winning car. Nick Damon is down in the throng.
I'm just with Christian Frankenhoff from the second place car. What happened to Maxi? Where is he?
Maxi is in the second to last corner. He had the same problem that I had like 6 hours ago. A wheel bearing broke or something. I don't know what it was, but yeah, we had the same problem. He tried to get home, but it was not possible, so he put the car down, and we said, okay, it has to be enough to still be second. So we had some bad luck this race, and we lost a lot of time, and this was the last bit of luck we had left.
Wow.
I suppose it was good luck. Well, Christian, well done, great performance on both cars, well done.
Thank you.
Goodness me. 1 lap earlier, and they would have been off the podium.
That would have been...
Oh my God, there are camels.
Of course there are. Do you think we
Do you think
joked,
we lied?
I thought you made it up.
They knew you were there, Nick. They knew you loved them.
I genuinely thought you made it up for a laugh.
Once the inflatable palm trees were taken away, I guess you thought we were joking.
It's not the most convincing Arabs pulling them along, in fairness. But,
and listen, I can wear a good Galabia.
And these are dromedaries, of course.
Yeah, 2 humps. So 1 lap more, 1 lap less, Nick, for that second place car when the wheel bearing went, and they would have been off the podium.
That is, well, as you say, they had some bad luck, and they certainly had some good luck within their bad luck.
Yes, I see what you mean. So we've got the leading cars there. We've got some of the class winners on the front straight as well. The pit lane begins to fill up. Nick, jump in with anybody that you can possibly get. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes, if that, before we're going to go off air and give these good people their circuit back. Final thoughts from Bruce Jones.
What a great first taste of endurance racing at Zandvoort. For many, many years, Dutch huge motorsport fans have deserved an endurance race. This was the first toe in the water, and we're going to go forward from here. I've really enjoyed it,
with Michael Goltz from the number 10 Leipert Lamborghini. So close, he nearly caught up, didn't he, Jerome? He nearly got you on the podium.
Yeah, we speak with the manager here. The car 2 is not finished.
But in this championship, as long as you're classified, you haven't got to take the flag. I'm afraid it's one of the rules. They will be on the podium. I'm afraid.
My English is not so good. Thank you.
Hey, it was good enough to complain.
Never ask a driver.
I find Jeroen Mal. Jeroen, that was a fantastic run, but in the end, just not enough.
Yeah, it was a shame. Honestly, I didn't know have any idea where I was on the track. I just went for it as fast as I could, and in the end, I saw that the SLS that was second in class was standing still in the Kuma corner. So I was just hoping that I could lap him enough to gain back that position and just get into that podium. But unfortunately, I didn't. So that's a shame.
I think you certainly
23 seconds at the end, mate.
Just 23 seconds away from the podium, I've just been told. But you certainly enjoyed your experience here.
23 seconds. 23 seconds from podium. That's a shame. One more lap and then I was in. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. I really enjoyed my experience here. I really enjoyed my first experience with the Creventic Endurance Racing in Dubai in this January with this same Lamborghini. And this time was awesome again. I want to thank Leipert Motorsport for giving me the opportunity to drive again. And they prepared a fantastic car. It worked for the entire 12 hours. It did also in Dubai for the entire 24 hours. It's a mega strong car. It's fast enough. We just need to find a little bit better strategy. Maybe have just a little bit more luck.
Jeroen, thank you very much indeed. And yeah, I think when it comes to Creventic, everything is awesome.
That's the Lego movie. Oh, well, we're in the right sort of area, aren't we? That is the Lego movie, though,
It
I
is,
think.
and it's a fantastic song.
Don't start. The cars are on the pit lane straight in Parc Fermé, a more conventional Parc Fermé, not to the far side of the circuit. And the ignominy of the second place car, Maxi Burke, being, I think, dragged in by the Nissan Navara behind the ambulance as he might not get down to his spot underneath the podium. Already the crowd's gathering in the pit lane. And, well, I think, Bruce, this has been a real success. Yes, we could have done with a bit less Code 60 today, but there was no option for that. The sun has shone. I get the feeling there's an awful lot of people down in the paddock who are getting ready for a beach party tonight. And that is the advantage of coming here.
A beer coming on. So, John, your first visit to Zandvoort, you coming back next May 15th and 16th?
Yes, we already know the date. That's one of the advantages of Creventic. I think, if asked...
Rude not to, John.
You're not inviting me then, Bruce. I'll just go then. I'll have a waffle and wander off, shall I?
I just presume you've been attacked by a camel.
They are cracking camels.
Well, that's about it then from the first couple of portions of our Super Endurance Racing weekend here on RadioLeMans.com. Practice qualifying, 3 hours of racing on Friday. That was good, and lots of people have told us they like racing on Friday, so organisers, take note. People sitting at work can listen in, particularly on other time zones. And Saturday, the remaining 9 hours has gone to victory for the 33 Mercedes-Benz and the Car Collection Motorsport. Well done to all of the class winners. Our thanks go to everyone here for making this possible, and of course to our Radio Show Limited team for putting this RadioLeMans.com broadcast together. I'm John Hindhaugh, for Nick Damon, for Bruce Jones here on site, and for the rest of the team. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, back tomorrow with part 3 of our Super Endurance Racing weekend. Well, it's a test part tomorrow as we get ready for the 2014 Le Mans 24 Hours with Mobile One Radio Le Mans on 91.2 FM, live from Le South. Bye for now. Hey, Tim, you there?
Podium, oder? Darf ich noch mal kurz freundlicherweise? Dankeschön. Wo zahlen? Macht nichts. Lange nicht mehr, habe ich gemerkt. Viel was Besseres drauf, viel was Besseres drauf. Hier, der kann auch noch abgetaped, hier. Ach, also hier drüben, das hier natürlich. Die werden auch noch abgetaped. Gut, dass ich doch was angedacht habe, ne? Gut, ne? Nein, das ist schon abgetaped. Der ist schon komplett zugetaped, der Kerl. Länger. Maar jij zou je team mee? En jij zou je team mee als we naar boven gaan? Jij hebt een beetje je mannen bij elkaar, hè? Dit is bij jullie.
Mitnehmen für die Tests sind weg. Wahrscheinlich hat es da gedreht. So wie nun. Gut, das liegt von der Lieferung her, aber später nicht von der Zeit, dann dreht er nicht den. Hat er trotzdem gerecht. Das geht nicht waschen. Ja, let's go.
Volgens mij is dat de verkeerde. En ik heb er niets aan gedaan, mijn vriend.
Ja, helaas. Ik denk niet dat het goed gaat met het volkslied.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Probeer het nog één keertje.
Ja, het gaat eraan komen. Ik weet niet wat er gebeurd is hier, maar ik druk op het knopje en dat ging verkeerd. Ga nog een keer kijken of hij het doet.
Het Duitse volkslied voor Car Collection Motorsport 2. Met onze eigen Renger van der Zanden. Ja, de plaksnorren die ontbreken. En de bokaal voor de overwinnaars wordt uitgereikt door Erik Weijers, Chief Operational Officer van Circuitpark Zandvoort. Die een grote knuffel geeft aan Renger van der Zanden. Onze eigen Nederlandse held natuurlijk. En het zijn niet de minste bekers die de mannen krijgen. Dat mag ook wel trouwens na 12 uur zwoegen voor de overwinning. Peter Smit, Christian Brakke, Renger van der Zanden en Mirko Schultes, zij hebben het hem geflikt. De eerste winnaars van wat hopelijk een hele serie 12 uur van Zandvoort gaat worden. Nogmaals jullie applaus voor de mannen van Car Collection Motorsport 2. Dan de bekers voor het team op de tweede plaats. Hofor Racing 2. Michael Krol, Ronald Eggeman, Kenneth Heijer, Christian Frankenhout en Maximiliaan Boek. Die ook een hele mooie prestatie hebben geleverd. Vielen uit eigenlijk in de voorlaatste ronde, maar hadden zoveel voorsprong opgebouwd dat die tweede plaats absoluut niet meer bedreigd werd. En dan gaan we naar het team op de derde plaats. En ook daar worden de bekers uitgereikt. Maar in dit geval aan Dr. Johannes Kiergoof, Gustav Edelhoof en Elmar Griem. En die man rijdt natuurlijk voor Car Collection Motorsport 1. Alle bloemen, alle bekers zijn vergeven. Dan wil ik jullie nog eenmaal een applaus vragen voor alle mannen hier op het podium. Congratulations, gentlemen. Een prachtige eerste editie van de 12 uur van Zandvoort. Bij Hankook Powered natuurlijk. Het hele weekend zeg ik dat en op de huldiging vergeet ik dat. Terwijl de champagne hier rond gaat vliegen. Met dank aan Hankook die trouwens, dat hebben we al eerder genoteerd, geen enkele lekke band vandaag hebben gehad. Dus daar is ook wat over te vertellen. De Zandvoort 12 uur powered by Hankook. Nou, die banden hebben het absoluut goed gedaan hier op circuitpark Zandvoort. En wij kijken met veel plezier uit naar de volgende editie op 15 en 16 mei 2015. Ja, de fles champagne die Christian Frankenhout natuurlijk even gaat geven aan zijn teammaten. Ja, knoeien met champagne, dat hoort er ook bij de monteurs die een topjob hebben afgeleverd. En daarmee en passant even de toeschouwers meenemen. Helemaal top. Dan willen wij u vanaf het podium bedanken voor uw bezoek aan de 12 uur van Zandvoort. Met een applaus natuurlijk voor de winnende teams. Goeie sfeer vandaag, topsfeertje. Met een Nederlands overgoten sausje natuurlijk. Daar gaat de bos bloemen. Renger van der Zanden kan wel gooien, maar niet zo goed bloemen gooien. Of wel goed sturen, maar niet zo goed bloemen gooien. Nou, dat geeft helemaal niks. Christian Frankenhout natuurlijk ook een mooi resultaat met Hofor Racing Team. En ik denk dat de mannen zich een beetje gaan opfrissen en gaan genieten van de overwinning. Straks natuurlijk de prijsuitreiking voor alle klassen tijdens het feest in strandtent 21. Een minuutje of 5-6 lopen van het circuit. Daar gaat het grote feest dan plaatsvinden. Ik wil vanuit hieruit natuurlijk de sponsor Hankook bedanken. Ik wil de mensen van Creventic bedanken. Natuurlijk alle OCA marshals, de politie, de rescue mensen, de brandweer en de medische dienst die vooral vandaag zoveel werk hebben verricht. Ook niet alleen op de baan, maar ook zeker naast de baan. En namens mijzelf, Arthur Dekker, en namens mijn collega Erik Post boven in de toren wil ik jullie hartelijk bedanken om 2 dagen lang ons commentaar te hebben willen aanhoren. Wij hebben het met veel plezier gedaan. We hebben al gezegd, we komen graag weer terug volgend jaar tijdens de volgende 12 uur van Zandvoort. Voor nu wensen wij jullie een fijne avond. Misschien nog een leuk feest 's avonds als we naar strandtent 21 gaan. En graag tot volgende week bij de Pinkster Races.
Blijf je dan met je GoPro'tje de volgende keer weg. Ik ben niet aan het filmen. Nee, maar ik ben aan het fotograferen. Precies. Ook met de GoPro. Precies. Ja, ik zeg het maar.